Hello, hello.
Dyken hasn't returned.
Okay,
my call. Maybe
now
he's
it's not.
not. Okay,
The
lawyer. All right, so Steve Biella is coming in and John Dyken is coming in? No, we don't know. We don't know, okay. Oh, wait a minute. I can't. No, Dyken's not coming. All right, he has commitments, so we'll see Steve Biella until Tim comes in. How about that?
Tim's on.
I don't know. We didn't hear from Tim, so,
I'm here.
all right. No, we got you covered, Scotty. That's
All
good.
right, thank you.
All right, we're gonna start in just a minute. Everyone ready? I think we're ready.
Already started.
Okay. All right, Alexi, we're cool. Okay, let's go. All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Berlin Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. Today is December 11th, 2025. I'm going to call the meeting to order. It is 6:02, and I'll ask everyone to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, if you please. Thank you. Thank you very much. And now I'll ask Alexa, our Assistant Town Planner, to do the roll call, if you please.
Bailey.
Here. Here.
Lane Dorsey.
Here. We don't know.
Yeah.
She's just, you're real soft.
You think is coming on.
Yeah, Brian Rogan should be attending by Zoom shortly.
Joan Bailey.
I am here.
Present.
Okay, thank you.
Ron's not.
Yeah, he's excused.
here.
Huh? Steve's on his way. So we'll seat him for Tim unless Tim shows up. Okay. All right, so if we've done the roll call, we have a quorum, let's move on. Approval of the minutes and adoption of the 2026 calendar, November 13th, which was a special meeting. We have, go ahead.
The minutes. We'll have them for the next meeting.
All right.
Just do the calendar.
All right, so we'll go on to the adoption of the calendar. All right. And everyone just take a look at the calendar. I think it avoided a lot of the Berlin Fair, I don't know, the 17th of September. Is that before or after the Berlin Fair? That's questionable. Okay. And then October 15th is, shoot. I'm trying to think about early voting. Yeah,
The 17th.
yeah. We may have to adjust the 17th of September. Ugh.
Will have the dates already.
They should, but I don't know.
So if it was the third week, third week.
Mm,
And it's usually the week before Durham.
And then a question of, all right, calendar, let me look and see if I can find January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, the 17th, I believe, is the third Thursday. We're gonna have a problem with the 17th, so we'll make a question mark on that. And then I want to look at early voting.
17th is Saturday of October.
No, I'm talking September.
Oh, September.
Yeah, that's a Thursday. Okay. And 1, 2. October should be okay. November 5th would be right after the election. That may be a question mark for me.
What about
Well, 17th of September may coincide with the Berlin Fair. I think we probably should switch it, so we'll just earmark it. I don't know what we want to do with it yet, if we want to push it back a week or just eliminate it. November 5th is right after the gubernatorial election, and I don't know if I'll be with you guys or not. And so we may have to do something with that. But those are the two that I see a conflict, because everything else I think is clear of the holidays, whether they be religious or federal. November, yeah, that one might be an issue because the election should be the 3rd of November, which is Tuesday. Okay, but that's that. All right. So those are the ones we need to discuss about. But other than that, Pavlos, anything else with the calendar, guys?
Yeah, the timeline says 7 o'clock. So were we gonna do 6 o'clock through March?
6?
Yeah, the meeting calendar, the last one she sent out, maybe you don't have the adjusted one, but it earmarks 6 o'clock.
It's 6 next to the date.
I see it now. I just went to the header.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. Good question. All right. Anything else? All right. So I'll entertain a motion to accept the calendar with,
I make a motion to accept the calendar for 2026 with the adjustment of the dates that were mentioned during our discussion.
okay, which was September 17th and November 5th. We're going to revisit. Okay.
I'll second
We
that.
have a second by Ms. Jorsey. The motion was made by Ms. Millard. All those in, further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? So moved. And just for the record, Stephen Biella, I'm going to have you seated for Tim Zigma. I'm not sure if he's attending today, so we're happy to have you. Okay, next up is going to be I hope I'm working off the right agenda here. This is the receipt of new applications and scheduling of public hearings as required or necessary. A site plan amendment application of HRP Hospitality LLC for a modification to a special permit for Phase 5 hotel construction and use at 414 Berlin Turnpike property of BT 2008 LLC in the BTD zone. And I guess you have a suggested date here of January 15th. The only question I have is really, where is this?
Riverwalk Apartments?
So is this a Daddio?
I was
Okay,
hopeful that the hotel comes back.
okay.
Another shot at the billboards.
Yeah, all righty. So with that, do I hear a motion from Ms. Jorsey?
I'll make a motion to schedule a public hearing for January 15th, 2026.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, Ms. Millard has the second. Okay, you want me to give that to Ms. Daly? Okay, further discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, so moved. Receipt and schedule for the special permit site application of Deanzi and Demetris Mack Lobster King sounds interesting, LLC, for a to-go style fast food restaurant at 1176 Farmington Avenue, property of the Kids LLC in the CCD2 zone. And the suggested date, of course, is January 15th. And this is Stick Village? Is this where it is, or where is this?
Oh, Average Joe, across from Stop and Shop area? Oh, it's right next to Whole Donut.
In the back. In the back.
Left-hand side of the building, you're looking at the red building.
Yeah, Whole Donut is. To the-
Switches, yeah,
Just to the right of switches, next to the eye doctor.
okay. Okay,
Make a motion to schedule for January 15th, 2026.
okay, Ms. Jorsey has a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, Ms. Daly has the second. Further discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, so moved. All right, commission business, we have the bond release and reductions. The first one is request for Earl Wickland for the release and reduction of a public improvement bonds being held for Nature's Edge. And we have phase one, which is a request release of $29,934. With phase two is a request for a reduction. Phase three is a request for a reduction. And so are they ready for this or no?
Reviewed these, so for phase one, he denied the full release, but he said it's okay to release, the 20,380, that's the 25% that were required to hold until the work is complete.
Okay, so,
Do you want to do motions by number?
It doesn't matter.
Well,
Or
the
just as suggested by staff?
I mean, there's a suggestion for each
Mm.
phase. Do you want me to go through?
yeah, what's the suggestion for your phase, for the phase one?
The same thing, the full release is denied, but we can go down to keeping 25%. So that would be the current bond. Oh, actually, I'm sorry, that one has to remain in place.
All right, so phase one, so it's a denial for the request for the release of the 29,934. Is the 29,934, is that the total of all the bonds? Or is that the total of the phase one only?
At phase one only, we can reduce from 29 to 20,000. Phase two, we can't release at all. And then phase three, the last one can be reduced.
And what's phase three's reduction request?
That's from 84,000 to 57,000.
84,000 down to 57.
It's 84,238, 57,937.
Okay, I see the number here.
And for phase one, it's 29,934, may be reduced to 20,380. And then phase two,
Is a no-go.
yeah.
All right, so this is the number for that one. This is phase. This is number 3. And this is no-go. All right, so. And staff is okay with that, with those numbers. All right. Okay, all right, yeah. So commission questions,
No questions. I'll give you some motions.
go right ahead.
I'll make a motion to reduce the erosion and sedimentation control bond to $5,548.
Wait, where are we?
Okay.
No.
Maureen may have spoke to you about some things that we were adding to the agenda, but because it's a special meeting, we can't add that.
Oh, I hadn't had any conversation. I'm just going off the memo. There's a memo in our package.
The memo must. Because
This is Riverwalk.
1 through 3 was fine, but you mentioned an additional fourth one, which we're not talking about tonight. We were.
Okay, that's item 1 on the memo. That's why I'm going off that.
All right, Peter.
It's dated December 9th from Jim Horrible.
All right, I'm just gonna look for the ones that are earmarked for Mr. Wickland, okay? Because we've got several in here that pertain to Ice Pond and Beacon Mooring, okay. Cormier. I was going off of this. Yeah, no, we're fine. Why is she? This is Riverwalk. This is that. These are the ones that I have for Nature's Edge. No, this is Peter Diadio. This is Diadio. I have this.
So, our recommendation is that you not proceed with the reduction for the erosion and sedimentation control bond,
Okay,
which is item number 1 in the, memo that was sent, the email that was sent.
but we'll do 2, 3, and 4.
Or, in-
Okay, so I'll withdraw the motion.
Okay, we have did we have a second on that?
No.
Okay, good. All right, so let's try
So
this again.
I'll try this again. I'll make
Yeah.
a motion to reduce the bond for Section 1 public improvements from $29,934 to $20,380.
Okay, so we have a motion. Do we have a second? Do we have, okay, thank you, Ms. Daly. Further discussion on that release? Then all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? So moved.
That the request was for the 29,934 for phase 1 to be, so you essentially did deny that, but you did reduce, by to 20,380 as your vote indicated. I just want to note that. based
Okay.
upon the language that was used on the agenda.
Yes, okay.
Okay,
Okay, next item.
Madam Chair,
yes.
I cannot hear a word that the Lex and Attorney Capola are saying. They need to speak more into that microphone. I cannot hear them.
Okay, thank you for letting us know.
Sorry,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Hamel, is that
No,
better?
no. Yeah, much better. I apologize. I just can't hear you.
Of course. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
letting us know.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so the next motion will be to deny the request to release Section 2 of the Public Improvements Bond.
Okay,
So just to deny.
okay, and do we have a second? All right. Thank you, Ms. Millard. Further discussion? Then all those in favor? Aye. Those opposed, so moved. And then phase 3 is the request from the reduction, and I think that was,
So I'll make a motion to approve the release of the Section 3 Public Improvements Bond in the amount, I'm sorry, the requested amount was $84,238. The motion is to reduce the bond to $57,937.
okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, second by Ms. Millard. Further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed, so moved. All right, so that's done. Oh, yeah, okay. Now we're going to move on to the request for Peter Diadio for the release of the bond reductions for the site bonds being held for 414 Berlin Turnpike. One is the planning bond release of the SESC bonding of $62,760. And what was staff's recommendation on this?
So that's the soil erosion and sedimentation control.
All right, it's it's for soil erosion
Sedimentation control.
and sedimentation.
It was recommended to deny that because the site is still under construction.
Okay. So do we have a motion to deny the request?
So we have a memo that also talks about an existing site bond reduction.
Yeah, so the site bond, this number 2 here, was recommended to reduce that from 65,000 to 10,725.
Okay, so I will make a motion to deny the request to release the fill erosion and sedimentation bond.
Okay, we have a motion for denial. Do we have a second? Second by Ms. Daly. No, I don't believe so. What does the attorney say?
You can, if you so desire, you don't have to, it's entirely up to you.
Flavor of the commission?
Jim Horrible's decision to make these?
So I think that, Ms. Gorlick, your assistant planner, gave you a specific reason as to why staff believed that it was not appropriate, to release it. So, and I don't know, given when Mr. Daddio came in, I'm not sure that he heard you because he just stepped into the room. So perhaps you want to speak to that again, Ms. Gorlick.
Yeah,
thank you.
I didn't say the first time, but we did originally have that bond as a fill permit, but we kept it in place for the soil erosion control.
Yeah, all right. So, no, we're just gonna handle this on the commission level. We're not gonna open it up for comment. I mean, to be honest with you, it would have to be something that would be handled through the engineering department. So we kind of go with the, as Ms. Miller pointed out, we kind of go with the recommendation. And so I would encourage you to contact the engineering department in the morning. Okay, thank you. All right, so we have a motion. Do we have a second? We had a
You
second?
have
June has a second.
June as
All
second.
right, so further discussion on that? So all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, so
Aye.
moved. All right,
And
thank
then
you.
the next motion will be the request to release the site bond. The site bond, the motion is to reduce the site bond from $65,000 to $10,725.
Okay, go.
Looking at the commissioner business, and for this line item, it says to decrease it to 16,250, not 10,725. Am I
That's
misreading
how
this?
much, that's how much we're reducing it
Okay,
by. We're reducing it to 10,725.
okay. Okay, thank you for clarification.
Okay, so we have a,
Motion, you need a second.
okay, we need a second.
Second.
All right, thank you, Ms. Millard. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, so moved. A request of Peter LaPont for the release of the site bond in the amount of $12,000 being held for 1073 Farmington Avenue. 1073 Farmington Avenue. Steve, how you doing over there? You're quiet. Okay. You feel all right? Okay. All right. Where is
It's Chipotle.
Chipotle? Okay.
That we were advised to release in full.
Okay, so the request is for the release in full, so everyone's satisfied that all the work's been done? All right, and it's okay to release? Okay.
I'll make a motion to release the bond for 1073 Farmington Avenue. It's $12,000.
Okay, we have the motion. Do we have a second? All right, thank you, Ms. Jorsey. Further discussion? Ms. Daly, excuse me. Further discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, so moved. Okay, now we have the reconfirm revocation, calling of the bond for the Midsun Group at Hatchery Brook Homes for sidewalk installation. Where is this? Hatchery Brook.
Treebrook Homes.
Hatch,
This was requested to be posted.
Hatchery, oh, a request for postponement, so we don't need to do anything, right? Okay. All right. Next is a request by Carl Ciarcia for the extension of excavation permit relating to the approval of 7-lot subdivision at MBL 20-2-72-1 to 1-7 Kensington Road. This is a subdivision that expires in 2029. This is Kensington Road going toward Elton Road, right? It's across the street. It's sort of built into the hill.
Yeah.
Is that's,
Yeah, between Elton Road and.
okay. And, yeah, so it's, well, yeah, going toward, the old Benarup product. If you go Elton Road to Kensington Road and take a left, it's up around the corner on the left. But it's like built into the home sites are on ledge and mountain. I don't know why, but. All right, so has he started excavating at all up there?
I don't know if any work has been done.
All right. The excavation permit, do we know how much he's planning to pull out of those 7 lots?
I don't know, I know you guys have already approved it and gave it an extension in the past.
Yeah, because this is an approval that goes way back.
Yeah, so it would be expiring on the 17th of this month.
The excavation permit.
Yeah, the subdivision permit would expire December 17th, 2029.
Okay, I guess because of the recent events on the old Benarup property with the trucks up and down Orchard Road and the fill coming in, and it's just made life miserable in that whole neighborhood. I'm curious as to see how much he's planning to excavate and what the route is. Because I learned something very important from the Benarup property, is that we have to ask how many trucks are coming out of that, because it's tearing up the road system. And I mean, they're speeding. I mean, it's an ongoing issue. And so I just don't want another neighborhood to suffer as much as these people are currently year after year suffering with that subdivision.
They also use Kensington Road.
Well, they do,
off of
but,
New Britain.
yeah, but if this is a permit that's, if this is a permit that's expiring this month, I would just like to have some details on it.
He does have a prior staff report. She'll just take a look at that.
Okay,
Does-
See if she could answer that.
Says in 2021 work started.
no, he hasn't. Well, he's got a blast and stuff.
Yeah, no, there's no more information. I don't know if it would be mentioned. in the-
Yeah, I could potentially go down and pull the file. Would you like me to see if I can?
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Find the details with regard to what was permitted.
Yeah,
Happy to do.
yeah.
At that time, it may not be there because it's just recently that we started asking that because of that property.
Yeah, exactly. So
That's-
I don't know, do we let it expire and then make him come back to us so that we can have an understanding of what he's doing? I mean, what's the best way to proceed? I just want to protect the people that are living in those neighborhoods, because nobody should have to go for 3 years and have trucks barreling up and down the road. And I think we just really need to know is how many trucks are coming in, how many trucks are going out. So
Do
it's,
you want to pass it until next month?
well,
Well,
but it expires.
Well, I think you do, though, you do have a history of, if the request is made, during the time frame that you can give an extension, then I think there is some, history of, administratively approving, after the expiration, the extension. And that's not uncommon. That is something that is sort of typical, in the planning and zoning setting with regard to permits, extensions of permits.
So if I understand you correctly, then if we allowed for the extension, we would still be able to talk to him about the details of that extension? Or is it now out of our purview?
I think think if you want more detail with regard to the activity, staff can certainly make inquiry. It's whatever you feel most comfortable with. I don't think that it is necessarily problematic for you to continue this to your January 15th.
But can they have him come in? for January 15th?
It can certainly be requested.
It would be nice to know how
If
much
you'd like
he's
to
done
see him
already.
in person or, yeah.
Yeah, was
If
a,
he's done anything.
yeah, because he may not have even touched it. But it just kind of weighs on me, and I need to know. I just can't give him a blanket on this. So yeah, I would like to see him. I'd like to understand what exactly, what this means for the neighborhoods and what the truck paths are gonna be and stuff. All right, so,
Do they need to make a motion on that?
Yeah, why don't you do that? Why don't you make a motion to continue the matter and with a direction to staff to please request that Mr. Ciarcia attend the January 15th meeting.
so we can have it clarified.
Yeah, to have
Okay,
clarification on what activity has taken place thus far and what's intended
okay,
going forward pursuant to the permit before you extend it further.
that's great. Okay. So, anything else from the commission about that matter? Then we'll go for a motion. Anyone with a motion? All right, I'll leave it for Diane. She's like, okay, come on.
I'll make a motion to postpone this matter and request that staff invite Mr. Ciarcia to discuss this matter at our next meeting on January 15th.
Okay, terrific. We have the motion. Do we have a second?
Second?
Okay, Ms. Millard. Further discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, so moved. Okay, so now Mr. Zigma is here, so let me see. Well, Brian is not online, is he?
No.
All right, so we'll have you seated for Mr. Rogan at this point.
He just raised his hand.
He is?
Yeah,
Where is he? Brian, are you here?
I just saw a hand and his name.
I think that's Maureen.
Oh, no, there he is.
Oh, no, he's way up in the middle. He's in the middle.
No, there you go, Brian. Okay, so you are here. All right, so that means you're just gonna
Can you hear me?
hang out. Okay, yeah, thank you, Brian. All right, we got it.
Being late. I sat down about 6 o'clock. We
Mm.
were doing paperwork, and her note popped up for me. Oh, it's 6 o'clock meeting.
Yeah, remember we adjusted them to start earlier?
Yeah.
No, we started now. Okay, so now on to public hearings. So you have the call for the public hearings?
I do.
All right, so let's go with the call.
I miss being secretary.
You, wait, what?
Town of Berlin Planning and Zoning Commission corrected notice of public hearings. The Berlin Planning and Zoning Commission will hold public hearings at a regular meeting on Thursday, December 11th, 2025 at 6 p.m. in the Town Council Chambers, Berlin Town Hall, 240 Kensington Road, Berlin, Connecticut. Interested parties may join the meeting and participate in the public hearings in person or remotely as provided below. 1. Text amendment application of Newport Realty Group LLC to amend Berlin zoning regulations 5C, planned residential district to allow for minimum acreage for PR1 development on 8 acres when the lot is contiguous to a previously developed lot in the PR1 zone and the combined acreage of both lots exceeds 20 acres. 2. Continued re-subdivision with special permit application of Thomas Kokomo Brothers for a 3-lot subdivision at 398 Chamberlain Highway, property of Shuttle Meadow Development LLC in the R21 zone. Applications and related meeting materials are available at the Planning and Zoning Department, Berlin Town Hall, 240 Kensington Road, Berlin, Connecticut. Remote access to this meeting is available by Zoom video conference, and there is a link provided. This was submitted by Brian Rogan, Secretary of the Berlin Planning and Zoning Commission, and run in the legal notices classified advertising of the New Britain Herald on Friday, November 28th, 2025, Friday, December 5th, 2025. And this was posted with the town clerk on Tuesday, November 25th, 2025.
Okay, thank you very much. And public hearing A is the subdivision application of Thomas Kokomo Brothers for a 3-lot subdivision at 398 Chamberlain Highway. This is the property of Shuttle Meadow Development LLC in the R21 zone. All righty. We are still in public hearing on this. And do we have anything new, or do we have anyone representing the applicant?
Is it possible that they thought it was starting at 7 o'clock? I'm fearful of that because I know that Maureen had discussions with Mr. Kokomo back yesterday with regard to revisions that have been made, because she discussed it with me. So
They made revisions yesterday?
Just the smaller size plans that you guys received. Tommy brought in the full size. And I think comments from this, yeah, for stormwater.
the engineer.
Yeah.
All right, so
Or maybe you pass this matter.
yeah, all right, we'll pass on to the next. So the next item is text amendment application of Newport Realty Group LLC to amend the Berlin zoning regulations 5C, planned residential district to allow for a minimum acreage for the PR1 development on 8 acres when the lot is contiguous to a previously developed lot in the PR1 zone and the combined acreage of both lots exceed 20 acres. Okay, and I guess you've advanced to the head of the class, so, which is probably you're relieved at. Yeah, he's shaking his head, yeah. Yeah, oh, exactly, which is always a good thing.
Attorney Richard Pentor representing Newport Realty Group.
You know, one of the things that struck me with this, Mr. Attorney Pentor, is that this is a very specific adjustment to the text amendment. It's very, and I don't know where else this very specific adjustment would apply.
It's probably, it's pretty narrow. What piece we're looking at is a 8.9 acre piece my client's looking at to develop some senior housing. It's out past Nielsen's farm. It's off of Kobe Road as you're heading out towards Rocky Hill.
Yeah, okay.
And it actually backs up to an existing senior housing project, Orchard Ridge, which I think actually fronts on Webster Street, but goes around the corner. So what we're doing is, otherwise the current zone calls for a 20 acre minimum. This parcel is 8.9 acres. The PR1 zone, I'm talking about, it calls for a minimum of 20 acres. So we're saying if you're contiguous to another developed 20 acre parcel in PR1, you can develop with at least 8 acres. We have 8.9 acres with the senior overlay. We probably can get 21 freestanding units in there. There seems to be still a very strong demand for adult housing in the entire area. My client, Tony Valenti from Newport Realty, is here tonight also. But they've been very successful developing these types of projects. It's just that this parcel, in order to be developed the way we think is the best way to develop it, would need this zoning amendment. As I said, these are going to be separate units. I don't believe that there's probably a lot of other, situations in town where this would apply. But it would basically, if you've got a 20-acre minimum and you're attaching another 8 acres to it, you're not really, spot zoning a piece because you're contiguous to another already developed 20-acre parcel. I think that parcel is like 20.3 acres, the Orchard Ridge development. And I think staff comments also brought out the fact that, the plan of conservation and development also indicates that there's still, strong demand for senior housing or a variety of housing in the town of Berlin. And I know from talking to my clients, they still, they find themselves empty nesters and they don't need 3,000 square feet. They're looking for this type of housing. And I know Newport's been very successful developing this kind of housing, but we have an 8.9 acre parcel. And right now, the minimum in that zone for this kind of development in the PR1 is 20 acres.
Currently hold then, is technically undevelopable.
Well,
If you wanted to do senior housing?
well, actually, if we wanted to do anything, because the PR1 zone calls for a minimum of 20 acres. PR2 is 7 acres. PR3 is 5 acres. So right now, that parcel probably would be grandfathered. Right now, that parcel couldn't be developed because it's not under the current zoning.
But
calls for 20 acres.
But if it's adjacent to or contiguous to an existing project, do you really need the text amendment?
That's my question. My question is, I think it would probably be a special permit.
Well, it would be a special permit anyway, Tim, but,
Instead of, but you're going single family, right? How many units are you talking about on 8 acres?
well, it allows 2.5 per acre. So
Right.
that would give us about 21 units, freestanding units. The
So,
problem is we're coming in with our own application. So if somebody looks at the PR1 and the minimum area in the PR1 says 20 acres. For some reason, PR2, it drops down to 7, and PR3, it drops down to 5. I'm not quite sure where the PR3s are located, but it seems like a big drop off from the PR1 to the PR2 and the PR3.
Is it?
We'd be hard pressed to come in with an application that fits the zone.
Is it surrounded by PR1?
Let's see, Diane, I can,
Tony Valenti, Newport Realty Group, 710 Main Street. And thanks for coming to squeeze in. The current parcel, the subject parcel, is actually in the OT zone, the Office Technology Park zone. And to get to your question, the subject parcel is surrounded by the OT zone. So to the west is property owned by Eversource, which is all in the OT zone. And they sit in like 120 something acres. The subject parcel we're talking about, 8.9 acres, is in the OT zone. But again, it also adjoins a PR1 zone, which has the affordable, which has 55 and older, 62 and older development already in place that's owned and managed by Metro Realty. Our development is proposed, as Rick mentioned, about 21 freestanding 55 age restricted 55 and older homes, deed restricted, averaging 1,444 to 1,650 square feet. Some have 4 seasons and 3 seasons porches, some don't. 2-car garage, all private road, private trash. All the sewer and water is maintained by the association, so no impact on the town. So we think it's kind of a good addition to that particular neighborhood. So I'm not sure what could ever be built in that OT zone. But I think to get to the question you posed to Rick was, what else we built there? I'm not sure what else in the OT zone. Which again is the Office Technology Zone. It's its own section of
Madam Chair, have him talk into the microphone, please.
Okay, yes.
Sorry about that. The OT zone would be larger facilities like what you see with Eversource.
Okay. Yeah, Tim.
So if you're going single family residential, basically houses, right? And it's 8 acres, you're saying 21 thing. Do they have an individual lot or is common ground?
It would be like.
It's a PUD, a planned unit development. Yeah.
Plan unit development, okay.
Each other on yards.
Right, so, but it's one lot, with designated area for each house,
Right.
right?
It would be planned development.
Right. So in the zone now, because it's different than the units are there. The other units are attached units,
Attached or.
and there's what, eight units a building, 8 units per building or something like that.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, because I have 2 commissioners that are online, so I really need to be careful with this.
Yeah, to your point, the Orchard
Ridge.
Orchard Ridge, those are apartments for 55 and older and 62. So those are for lease. Our units will be for fee simple purchase, basically. Yeah.
Oh,
There's no,
okay.
there's
Right.
no leasing.
So-
Oh, all right.
They're homes to purchase.
Yeah.
so it's single family homes to purchase,
Yep.
on designated, lot area, not individual lots. It's one common lot with the houses on,
The units would probably be defined within a lot area. There'd be each separate units in the plant development. They'd have their own yard. It wouldn't be, R 21.
right, but it's not lot lines, it's one lot, it's common lot. It's gonna be a association, association for this development. It's single family residential, but each house doesn't have pins on each corner of the lot because it's a common development.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
But we're getting more into.
Delineated on a map.
Tim, we're getting more into a site plan thing. Well, I just want to focus on this suggestion. No. But I just want to, I just want to focus on the idea of this text amendment. And I appreciate all the additional conversation and information. But I do have a question for Alexa and for our town attorney, is that I understand what the applicant is looking for, but I'm really wondering whether the text amendment is the best way to do it, especially since this is a very unique piece of parcel of property that's adjacent to an existing senior housing development. And that because it's almost a continuation of that, instead of doing a text amendment that may cause some issues or whatever further down the pike, isn't there a way for us to extend the senior application or the housing application to apply to the 8.9 acres without actually doing a text amendment?
That's exactly what I was getting to, is that if it's common land, it's common land and there's gonna be association there, just like the condos, common land association there. It's nothing but a multifamily development with 21 single family houses. It's the same thing as a condos thing, because it's going to have an association and common
But
land.
they're not gonna be,
Separate.
they're gonna be separate.
Separate houses.
But it's still gonna be part of a senior, even though it's a separate senior complex?
Just
It's a separate complex from the Orchard Ridge, yes. It's its own development.
Yeah,
It's like Beckley Farms. You have a lot of freestanding homes in Beckley Farms.
Mhm.
It's basically that concept.
yeah, well, I'm just trying to make it,
Yeah.
I just,
Uh,
because I'm not sure if there's other parcels of property that would be affected by this.
if it's,
Basically, this parcel in the OT zone, we don't really have I mean, it's off Kobe Road. It's really doesn't have the infrastructure to develop under office technology.
So the parcel currently is in the OT zone.
OT, yeah,
All
correct.
right, so really what you're
We're trying to attach it
Attach it-
to an abutting PR1.
PR1.
that has-
So,
Yeah,
yeah, so what you're trying to do is attach it to it so that it could be seen as having that 20-acre requirement.
basically, yes.
Well, yeah, so isn't there an easier way for us to do this as opposed to doing a whole text amendment?
Yes, there was,
This,
if we go back around to PR1, then we're still short the acreage.
You're short the acreage, but if it's going to be attached to this other development, even though it's a separate entity, do you see what I'm saying?
permit.
Is what you're.
Without merging, they're still going to be separate, but I mean,
It's a separate project.
it's a separate project, but you're also asking us to attach it to the first project so that the overlay of the 20-acre requirement would be fulfilled. And we're trying to figure out a way to do that.
May I ask the question, are the driveways going to connect to the existing development? Is it, no?
Is there yeah,
But
is there a way to put up that map on the,
So Alexa.
okay, all
Yeah.
right. And I'm going to ask my commissioners, Scott Hamill or Brian Rogan, if they have questions at this point.
No, I'm just taking this all in.
All right, terrific, thank you.
So this is confused me a little bit now, because they just said this 8 acres in an OT zone, right? And they want to make it to a PR1 zone,
One, yep.
okay? But that's not what this is a text amendment of the PR1 zone. It doesn't say anything about changing the zone from OT to PR1. So it's not in the proposal here. It's only a proposal for the change in the PR1 zone. And when there's a change like this in a zone, I like to see which other properties are PR1 and what they're going to affect. But the land change from zoning to zoning is not proposed here.
That issue.
Yeah, that issue, probably, this parcel is currently in the OT zone. We're trying to attach it so that we can develop it under, basically under PR1 guidelines, or allowing with the overlay, which is 2.5 units per acre. I know we've had meetings with town staff on this, and this was kind of what was discussed, but
Well, we're not frowning on the project.
Right.
We're just trying to make sure that,
it does what it's supposed to do.
yeah,
It's got to have the zone change first.
so, yeah, so
Then it's changing the zone. It's to OT zone right now. And you wanted to go into the PR1 zone. You're changing the zone. Okay?
Commissioner Rogan,
yes, okay, go ahead,
do you mind if I
Brian.
ask a quick question?
You go right ahead.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, Tim. But if we need to do it, instead of doing an amendment to a zone, if we need to do a zone change anyway, is there a residential zone that would work in this area that we could just change it to a residential zone and avoid doing all this text amendment?
That's an excellent question, and that's what we're trying to resolve. So now you're going to see where the PR1 zone is.
This is the only zone that fits the development they would like to do.
Well, and that's
That's the issue. And the OT zone itself is, and I've had some conversations with people from Rocky Hill, usually allow in the OT zone, they would never allow any of them, because the access is only from Rocky Hill to this property. So this property is unusable as an OT zone property. And I think to go back to the piece, getting it rezoned is probably part of the process, but if they can't do what they want with the zoning, then rezoning it makes no sense. Of the text amendment.
all right. Okay, so
It came in.
can you show
together.
me with your mouse there, that tiny mouse, can you show me what parcel of property that they're addressing? Is it that block right in front? Or where is this suggested property?
Yeah.
I want to see where this is. All right, so it's that, okay. That's the parcel right there.
This is the only area in town that's zoned PR1. Nowhere else is, so it would only be a.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the only place that's affected by it. All
I
right,
know, sorry, I know it's not
Ryan, go
our,
ahead.
I know it's not our town, but since the access is only through a street in Rocky Hill, out of curiosity, what is the zone there in Rocky Hill? And would that zone work, for this area?
Well, yeah, he wanted to know it,
Rocky Hills.
where,
no.
what's Rocky Hill Zone? But
Yeah.
the OT that we're seeing is all in Berlin, correct?
Yes.
All right, so this is all in Berlin, Brian, with the PR1 zone that you see?
Yeah,
So
but I see that,
yeah,
the people that it would be affecting the most is the residential neighborhood in Rocky Hill. I'm sure those are the people that are gonna show up when the, public notice goes up. So I'm just wondering, you know, is there a zone that would, I don't know what the, I mean, I know it's not our town, but is there a zone that land across the street is zone that would work there?
well, I
You
don't
see
know
what-
what they're,
There's-
I'm not sure what the zone is across the street because now it's not in Berlin anymore, correct?
Hill zones are different than ours, they're not.
Yeah, so across the street from the PR zone, to the right of it or whatever, as I'm looking at the map, is that in Berlin or is that?
Everything highlighted in the yellow and pink is Berlin, everything surrounding is Rocky Hill.
Yes.
All right, okay.
It-
So, go ahead, Attorney Pentor, I'm sorry.
Actually, the zone change is also contemplated along with, this is a text amendment, but the zone change would be contemplated. I know that's what the staff comments indicate that, you know, it's going to be developed as a PR1, and right now that's has a minimum of 20 acres. The fact that it's office technology off of Kobe Road, I don't think it has the infrastructure to develop at all as office technology, but the zone change itself would also be contemplated as part of the development. But this would give us the ability to develop this parcel. Right now,
Okay.
we don't have the ability to, even if we changed it, we would need a text amendment.
Yeah, okay,
If you change it to PR1, it's got to be a text amendment, yes.
The zone
But-
change too.
And a zone change, yes. But,
This will be the text.
Commissioner Rogan, you know, just asked if, it could be a residential zone, which could be
technically it will be.
R7 or zone or something like that might be all right for you. And then you got individual lots and individual homes, sales, okay? Can you please not, you come up here making noise, you're making faces.
Tim,
Please do not do that to this commission. You've done it many times, sir.
I know.
And this commission has its own opinion than zoning does. Thank you.
All right,
Tired of it.
okay.
I think a lot of the homes on the Rocky Hill side of the street are probably larger.
Yeah, they're
Sure.
probably acreage or whatever,
Well, they're good size homes. They're,
but
yeah, probably are
yeah.
acre.
All right, I just want to make sure that we advance this in a logical way. I mean, I understand the text amendment, what the text amendment proposes, but we also have to change the zone. So I think what we're going to have to do
Both.
is
time.
come in, exactly. I think we need to come in with both. And I think we need to do the zone change first. And I think that that would then allow or open the door for the text amendment, would allow us to consider whether or not the parcel of property could be
Oh.
joined with the other parcel of property technically. I mean,
It would probably be
not-
the same simultaneously.
well, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do that. I think that that would be fine. Consensus of the commission.
It's
What do you think?
more reasonable to come in as one. It's two,
Yeah, because
two
for
things
us
at
to
once.
just do the text amendment without the zone change, well, I mean, you're actually, because you really kind of need the zone change.
Depending on it.
Yeah, because it really does depend on it. Okay. Well, Jennifer
Ask her
or
attorney.
Alexis? Alexa,
If,
okay.
if we do the zone change and then text amendment doesn't go through, kind of rootless for them to do the zone change. It's not benefiting them in any way if then they're not allowed to do it in that.
But so what do you suggest? So legally, what are you suggesting?
Another way, okay? They're potentially gonna do the zone change when they know that the acreage doesn't work for what they want to do. So that's why, staff, and I wasn't, but I'm assuming that may have been the thinking in terms of any conversation they had as far as direction and order. It is, I get the way that you're sort of maybe viewing it 6 one way, half a dozen the other, some of you, or thinking that really the zone change should have been first. But at the end of the day, yeah, they need the text amendment because the acreage requirement is the acreage
Yeah.
requirement. They don't have the acreage.
Yeah.
So doesn't it make sense? There's some logic to having, the text amendment first for that reason. I mean, it is a very, very simple text amendment ultimately.
Yeah.
So it's, and it's unique. I get that language wise. But you have a situation here where you have just this one little corner, for this district. I mean,
Yeah.
I see, if it turns into PR1, which obvious it probably should, because it's a little piece sticking between PR1. Okay, if it turns into that, and it's 8.5 acres, I don't have any problem of saying, hey, there's 20 acres next door or more, and we want to attach it to that, basically, and do the same thing or similar thing. The only thing is a special permit then of using 8 acres instead of 20. That's the special permit thing. So once it becomes PR1, you go say, well, that whole area is PR1 now, and we did want to do a similar thing. But it's single family residential, condo, association, whatever you want to call it. And it's simpler just to add it to that zone and now come in for the exception, whatever.
We would still have to come back for a zone change no matter what, Tim. Yeah.
You got to come in for the zone change, yes. You got to come in
I
for
don't
the
think
zone change.
otherwise, this amendment probably doesn't apply to any other parcels that I know of in the OT zone.
The amendment,
Contiguous to,
I just when I see it connecting to the other PR1 zone, which is 20 acres, and then I got a text amendment that's going to say this one piece of property can do different. Okay, that's a little bit of spot zoning inside a spot zone. It's just connecting the property and make it all one zone. And now coming in for the exception for the lot size, it makes it simpler. It makes it simpler to me.
This is the only, I'm sorry, you said this is the only PR1 zone
Right.
currently.
So you're only looking for this land here.
All right.
You're only looking for that land right there. So it makes sense to go PR1. But the only thing is that's stopping you is 8 acres, not 20 acres.
28.
Right, but you go make a continue with the other property.
Yes,
And
yeah.
think it was with the other, that's the word.
That's the point.
Yeah, right? And you go do a single family condo association. So it's similar.
Yeah.
It's similar, so the
Well,
zone,
these will be units that would be sold, and they won't be rentals. I
well,
think. So,
yeah, but they could take the rentals and change them into sales anytime they want, right? The units could be sold anytime they
theoretically, I
want,
suppose it would be a little difficult.
All right,
you know?
okay.
It's
So what's the best way to proceed with this? It's just,
Well, I think ultimately it's up to you. I mean, if you, again, you really, you've got to digest, right? I mean, the current bulk requirement for the PR1 versus, in terms of acreage versus 2 and 3, I mean, you did 27 and 5 for a reason, right?
okay,
But,
well,
again, this is the only area that's zone PR1.
okay,
So
Yeah,
yeah,
makes sense.
you
all
wanna
right,
capture that piece and make it be uniform in that corner.
Yes,
yeah,
That's
that's the question.
makes sense.
All right, well, this is a public hearing, so is there anyone from the public who wishes to address this application either for or against? Now would be the time to share your thoughts. Hearing none. Go ahead, Tony.
Somewhat handicapped without having Maureen here tonight, but we had several meetings with staff as we were approaching this property, and it was suggested that this would be the route to take, do the text amendment first and then the zone change following, site plan, special permit, et cetera. So we're just kind of following what was suggested to us.
Okay, all right, thank you, Mr. Valente. All right, online, how about Commissioner Rogan or Commissioner Hamel? Do you have any questions at this time? Brian,
Nothing
do
at
you
this
have a
point.
question? Okay, nothing, okay. All righty, commissioners, any additional thoughts at this point? Okay,
My only consideration is if the OT zone is not really developable or usable. I know that the application isn't, it's only for this, concerning this one parcel. But does the plan of conservation and development call for us to reconsider the OT zone overall?
That's a question. Good question.
Well, if we're doing it, we might as well
Well, yeah,
tackle the whole
well,
thing.
the OT zone is mostly Eversource.
and I don't know how often you've done this, nothing comes to mind, but certainly, and I remember not that long ago in North Haven, the commission rezoned area. I mean, you can choose to, maybe that's something you want us to look at. Want staff to consider whether or not get input.
Yeah, I'm just not recalling if the POCD, if that's one of our charges.
and I can't remember offhand either. Okay,
Look, it's specifically about the OT that was mentioned in the POCD.
I'm wondering if the if part of the POCD is calling for us to rezone the OT.
I don't know, but I'll.
okay. Well, it's a public hearing, so
Yes, you would have to.
do you want to close the public hearing or continue it?
Takes out of it.
No one can hear you online. I'm sorry, Tim.
I'm sorry. If we consider the OT zone, Eversource is most of that OT zone, probably not all the way to Colby Road, but wherever that zone is, for Eversource would have to stay OT, and then the rest of it can be residential or
Yeah, but does
yeah, BT1 or whatever,
Make it, yeah. I think
Yeah.
you make it.
This particular parcel doesn't really have the infrastructure, office technology. Given the,
No, it doesn't.
Yeah,
the
well,
vacancies in the office
okay.
market, I don't know if anybody's really developing any of that stuff right now either.
I would think we need to continue it.
Okay.
Would you like a motion?
Yeah, sure.
Because we have no further public input.
All right.
So, I'll make a motion, to continue this item, so that staff has an opportunity to, gather some information and give us an opportunity to, consider what's proposed.
Okay. And our next meeting would be January?
Or I guess it's a continuation,
Yeah.
not a postponement,
All right.
continuation
January 15th?
to January 15th.
Okay, so we have a motion. Do we have a second? All right, thank you, Ms. Miller. Further discussion on this item? Then all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? So moved. Okay, yep. No problem. All right, we're going to go back on the public hearings. We have the subdivision application of Thomas Kokomo Brothers for the 3-lot subdivision at 398 Chamberlain Highway, property the Shuttle Meadow Development LLC and the R21 zone. All right,
May I?
thank you, guys. Go ahead.
Mr. Ciarcia, I noticed arrived. We've already
Oh, wait a minute.
continued your item to the next meeting. 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. No, that's okay. They usually start it, but with the time change, a lot of the commissioners just wanted to get going earlier.
As long as he's.
All right, you know what? Do we want to ask him some of the questions now? All right. Okay, you're okay? Fine. Come on up, Mr. Ciarcia, sorry. All right.
I didn't mean to throw a wrench in them.
No. I'm glad that you noticed he came in. I didn't know that you had come in. All right. So I'll have you just go to the podium only because we had some questions. We know I had some concerns and I'll just lay it out. It has nothing to do with you, okay? It's just development in town or whatever. And we were having a very bad experience what's happening up at the old Benarup property, the Sunny Borders. And I know that you're looking for an extension of the excavation permit. And I guess I was trying to understand for the purpose of how this is going to affect the whole general neighborhood, traffic or whatever, how much you're pulling out of you're going to be excavating when you start the process, because I don't think you've started yet, have you?
No.
No, okay, all right. Can you give us, okay, I'm sorry.
Just so that
Oh,
when they're doing the minutes, they understand where we are. So we have at the podium Carl Ciarcia with regard to section 6B of your agenda, the request of Carl Ciarcia for an extension of excavation permit relating to the approved 7-lot subdivision MBL 28-2-72-1 to 1-7 Kensington Road.
okay.
I'm not, one of the reasons why I'm here is because the language in the regulations and the state statutes and whatnot, I'm not even sure if I needed an extension. That was a question that I had, because I thought I thought things were such that it coincided with the subdivision approval, an excavation permit coincides with the subdivision approval.
Okay, so in other words,
Subdivision
yeah.
approval isn't up for 4 or 5 more years. I just wanted to clarify that. That's what I was.
Oh, I see.
What was going on, but I needed to clarify. And that's why I'm here.
Oh, okay. And so how long does the excavation permit run for? Does it run with the subdivision approval or is it?
It doesn't.
Oh, so it's separate. So do we know when this subdivision, we know the subdivision expires in 2029.
The excavation permit would expire this year.
So it's expiring December 25.
I'm really not sure.
Okay.
That's why I'm here.
All right. Well, she just confirmed it for us. So what you need is an extension. But before we were going to entertain the extension, we were trying to understand exactly how much is going to be pulled off of that area for the 7 lots. I mean, how many trucks, once you get going, how many truckloads?
The way The way it's approved, it was approved for up to, I think it was like 40,000 cubic yards.
So 40,000 cubic. Now, because
Mhm.
I'm just gonna ask you, how many trips, how many trucks, dump
My-
trucks?
I'm going from memory here, this was.
Yeah, okay.
But it was, I think it was something like 2,000 truckloads.
Whoa, wow. And that's gonna be going off the property.
Now, part of this entire approval and what we were planning on doing in the beginning included taking the rock down quite a ways, you know, to make room for the 30 feet you need in the backyards and stuff like that. Somebody was gonna take the rock back then and they went out of business. So I don't have a way of getting rid of the rock at this point. So I'm not saying I'm going to right now, but one of the things was to reconsider this at some point of possibly taking less rock out and using the land. I was told maybe use the land to accent it a little bit more than taking it down as much. Take the minimum down instead of the maximum. But that would be a whole nother application. That was just information. If
Yeah.
I don't have somebody that way of getting rid of the rock reasonably, then nothing happens.
So let me ask the question of staff. If we let the extension just stop with the end of 2025, the extension for the excavation, and once Mr. CRC has a clearer vision of what he wants to do, could he then come back and reapply for the excavation permit based on his new plan for development?
Everything else will be different because they're not taking that much rock out.
You have to use that because otherwise poor Rogan and Scott can't hear
Get
you.
it on, but the elevations changed on the development. He's not gonna take so much as fill out, rock out. Then it should come back to zoning because now it's a different
Yeah.
subdivision.
All right.
It's a different subdivision, basically. Maybe the number of lots be the same, but elevations and everything else will be different because they're not taking out as much stuff. So he has an application that's approved for the subdivision. Basically, he's only got to come back for elevations if he changes it, and taking the fill out. He may not take that much fill out. So
And well, the excavation permit, does the town charge for that? Does the town charge for
That's
the?
a substantial charge. I guess,
Okay,
much
all
per
right.
yard.
All right. So, but you've already paid for that permit.
No.
Oh, you haven't because you haven't started work. Oh, that's even better.
This was a hypothetical.
Oh, yeah.
Find somebody who wants the rock, it's gonna be different.
Yeah.
I would just soon have the extension done. I thought it was a formality to get the extension done.
It usually is, but like I said, in light of how much we've seen, in light of other developers' actions or whatever, we're just a little bit more cautious now. Because we see how it's impacting the neighborhoods and the local roads are being torn up. And that's just all a burden to the town, you know? So that's why we were curious, is to see, you know, how you were planning to do this or how much was going to be removed. But as you said, right now, that's up in the air too, and that's subject to change. And seeing that the permit hasn't been drafted on, I don't feel like I'm costing you any additional money at this point, which makes me feel better too. And so if we just let the permit go and then have you reapply when you have an idea of what you'd like to do.
Maybe I shouldn't even approach that scenario because I really just want the extension. I've got 7 lots, right? I've been paying off building lots now for about 10 years, quite a bit.
Yeah.
The whole idea was if this was gonna be able to get extended. Otherwise, why would I? You can't have one without the other. I can't have the building lots without the excavation. And I really thought that that was cleared up.
Yeah. I guess when I see the excavation, I think of it as if we approve the extension, then I'm approving 2,000 truckloads of rock. Because that's the way,
Whatever, it was,
that's,
it's already been approved. We're just looking for the extension.
I understand that,
We
but
went through all of it for years and a whole lot of money to get everything approved the way it
Yeah.
was.
mhm.
And I was told it was a formality to come back here and just to get the extension. Want to look for something right here.
Any questions from the commission on this item?
I just, the subdivision.
You have to use your microphone.
Subdivision is 5-year subdivision, so you got time on that left on your, on the approval for the subdivision. You have the time left on that part of the application. The only thing you don't have is the taking out the material, right? Not excavation because you think. Now, I think, it should be, you don't know if you're going to do the project now or 4 years down the road or whenever. Do you know that? No, okay. If you don't, the excavation's only good for whatever time we had, a year excavation permit. It's only going to be good for another year, whatever. If we extend it a year and they got to come back here again, they got to come back here again.
To go back.
Okay, 2 years. Okay, so if you got to come back 2 years from now and extend it again, or whatever. Okay,
Oh, the extension.
probably easier to just do it all at one time.
No, for the extension for the excavation permit. If we were to grant him the extension, how long would the extension be valid for? Is it 2 years?
Earth removal permits approved in conjunction with an approved site development plan or subdivision plan may be approved for up to 10 years with biennial review by zoning staff and can be renewed or extended for defined time periods by application to and approval by the commission to allow construction of an unexpired development plan.
Up to 10 years, so we could give him the 4 years that's left. If he's gonna go, if the subdivision was only a year ago, right?
No, the subdivision was longer than that.
2 years. You got to do the building in 5 years. So how long ago was the subdivision?
Subdivision is expiring in 2029.
29.
So
Okay, so
probably
4 years. It's for
10 years?
4 more years.
15, because then there was a change that they could extend it for up to 14 years.
Yeah. I'm just saying, if it's 4 years left of the subdivision, that we should extend it 4 years then. Because we got up to 10 years to extend.
Is there any way, if we were to give you the extension, and if you found yourself with the need to take out or have 2,000 truckloads of stuff come out of that development site, is there any way that we can have him come back to the commission so that we can just review what roads you're going to be using?
Yeah, that's actually in the approval.
Okay.
It's going down Kensington Road to Orchard Road out to Chamberlain Heights.
Oh, Lord.
Going in through town.
Okay.
That's in the language for the approval. That's one of the stipulations.
Okay.
That was the shortest way and the best way of going instead of going down Orchard Road or any of that out to the Berlin Turnpike was to get right to the Chamberlain Highway.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to extend 4 years of his excavation permit to coincide with his subdivision permit.
All right, we've got a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Ms. Chorsey has a second. Further discussion on this, commissioners? Any other comments? All right. Okay.
I,
Ms.
I have a
Moore?
little concern about this. 2,000 trucks going up and down Orchard Road. I have a problem with it because I live on Orchard Road and I live it every day now just with Pierre Benrup's old property. And the roads are getting torn up. I would feel more comfortable knowing that if you could tell us that you're not going to be taking out 40,000 cubic feet of rock, I would feel better about on voting on this. I have a problem with that much traffic. I'm sorry.
That requires me to change my application, my approval.
But if I approve this or if it gets approved, we're saying you can do 40 cubic feet and 2,000 trucks going up and down Orchard Road.
Yeah, over a period of time.
I know, it's 3 years. I know how long it takes. Yeah.
Yeah, we're still doing,
Okay.
but he's saying that the trucks would be leaving the site, traveling Kensington Road to Orchard. So they would go past the nursery, the old Benarup,
Take a right out there.
and then they would be going up the hill.
I know. And I know with Benarup's property, Weber was supposed to be using just one part of Orchard Road. And now they come down Chamberlain Highway, do Orchard Road that way. They come up Kensington Road from New Britain and they do Kensington Road, Elton Road. I know they take.
It's getting hammered, and we don't mean to hammer you about it.
It's not you.
It's awful.
Business on the Philip for 42 years.
Yes, you have.
And I've done everything by the book and anything
Okay.
that's ever been asked of me, I've
Yeah.
taken care of. My word's pretty important to me, so if I know
Okay.
what's gonna be done, I'll make sure it gets done.
Yeah, no, you've always done right.
Thank you.
The direction of product going out was part of the approval that we had. And if everything stays the same, that's what direction going out. And if someone else is not doing what the approval was, then we should be going after the people that are not doing as approval was, because they're against their approvals.
Yeah.
Put a stop to that.
Well, wait, now, well, that's a whole nother thing. All right, anyway, we do have the motion and we have the second. We have any further discussion? So all those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? So moved.
Thank you.
All right. Now we're basing it on your reputation. All right. Okay, now we're circling back. So now we're back to the public hearing part. So what this is, Mr. Kokomo. Okay, this is item A under public hearings that we've now come back to. And we have Mr. Kokomo to address us at the podium. All right. So, good evening. Yeah, thank you for your patience.
Indulging
Oh,
lateness.
oh, geez.
Apologize.
No, well, it's the first meeting that we're doing the 6 o'clock start, which is great for us because we're all excited to maybe get home in a decent time.
I agree with you.
All righty.
So yesterday, I spent some time. As you're aware, this is a special permit for a 3-lot subdivision at 398 Chamberlain Highway.
Mm-hmm.
And yesterday, I apologize, I wasn't at the previous meeting. I had some family things going on, but I spent some time yesterday with Maureen and Alexa going over most of the staff comments. We received everything on Monday, and we addressed everything. And I'm prepared to go one by one, line by line for you. And I brought tonight both Jack Gilmartin, surveyor, and I brought Dave Cotter, licensed engineer. Mr. Cotter addressed Mr. Ahern's concerns about runoff. And I think this is very important. I'm not going to get involved too much in this because I'm certainly not an engineer, but the concern with this site from this commission is what I was told was potential, and from the town engineer was, is this going to be more? Are these three new homes or 2 new homes in the existing going to create more water issues? You've heard from the public, and the public, I was told, expressed that there had some water concerns. So George did some calculations, and what's going to happen when this subdivision, if this subdivision's approved, this property is going to eliminate about 70% of the impervious portions of it. That's the asphalt, the hard pan stuff, and then all of the semi-impervious, and that's all the roads with the gravel and the millings that were brought in from millings from when they mill up the roads, and they brought those in. So when that happens, and I'll let George really get technical with you guys, but the site becomes a benefit for water, and as she flows off, and so that's one point that I know that was very concerning. And Maureen told me to address that with you. She also told me that some of the comments were talking about the rear lot and the potential that maybe, and I don't know if it was from this commission or from members of the public, but the foundation and the depth of the foundation, may there be water in the foundation. Well, typically when we construct new homes, that's what we do in the field, and we've designed it with a sump pump, thinking that we're going to get depth there. But when you get in the field, and if you dig that hole and you get water protruding, that's when you stop and you pivot from your design, and you make, you improvise in the field. And typically, if their water's high, we do a slab on grade 4-foot foundation. And that's the plan for that rear lot if there was water. Now, we're not really too concerned about it because, again, we had a lot of questions about fill. We had a lot of questions about wetlands. And when we were in that long wetlands meeting, Attorney Coppola was there. There was some test pits done. And there was an old wetlands line that was never delineated, but it was on the town maps as an area of potential wetlands delineation. So during the wetlands meeting, Mr. Horrible, staff for wetlands, asked our surveyor Jack to go out and stake out the old wetlands line from like 1988 or so. And Jack did that. Subsequent to that, the town hired a third party. They did 4 test pits from that old line towards the wetlands. So within that area, wherever it may have been. During those test pits, they discovered that there was fill. They hit fill up to 4 feet. And that fill, and it could have been 5 feet, I don't recall exact depth. That fill was in the notes, and I actually submitted it to Maureen to submit the minutes from that wetlands meeting to this commission, that third party that worked for the town said he had no idea when that fill was brought in, how much of it was brought in, but said it was brought in, and there looked like 2 or 3 different fill periods of time, over periods of time. So we dug that down to about 6 or 8 feet underneath, and then we hit virgin material. We didn't hit water at that time. So that's why we're confident that we may be able to get foundations in there. Now, with that being said, that house is still, the old line, like I stated, was delineated. That house is 40 feet in front of that, or no, 50 feet in front of that old line. So we're confident that it may not have an issue. Now, if it does, like I said, we'll fix it in the field. With that being said, this is a 3-lot subdivision. It is by special permit. And that rear lot, we believe, in fact, we know it, some of Maureen's comments, that exceeds the area that's required. Other 2 lot, the total, the subdivision allows for, it can't be for anything less than 2 acres, and we have 2.15. So we hit all your criteria for the special permit, and we're confident about that. And then I just lastly want to reiterate, and Maureen asked me, and Alexa will confirm, that we went through a very long, arduous site plan meeting for the old Walpole. And I think it was poignant, and I know Madam Chair was poignant to those neighbors. And 2 of those neighbors, you directly asked them, how do you feel about a residential subdivision? And 2 said yes. Truthfully, the one to the north said, I would rather see it Johnson's Gardens. And I remember accurately Ms. Dorsey saying, looking at me, that's not reality anymore, right? That's the whole reason we were here for Walpole. And then she acquiesced and said, we just want it cleaned up. We've done our best. We've cleaned it up as far as we can now. It's a clean site. Paulie from zoning will confirm. And we just really want to move forward, as we were told to move forward by this commission. I think we meet all the criteria, and I'll just have Jack go over any questions you may have. If you want me, I could do it at the end, but all the staff comments have been, and I hope Alexa will confirm. Yesterday, Maureen said she was happy with all the staff comments were met. All the plans changed and revised. Engineer Ahern said everything was fine. So we feel as though we've done everything we can for this commission. We look forward to a approval and hopefully a closing the public hearing. I don't know if anyone's here tonight.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Jack Gilmartin from, I'm signed in. Jack Gilmartin from JL Surveying. Again, going back to the last meeting, first thing I want to say is I want to apologize for the drawings that were presented in front of you. They were, the line work was atrocious. It was pointed out, and we've corrected that, and we do have the drawings done properly, showing the site plan development. One of the questions that was asked, I believe you asked me about the well. Well to the north is going to stay. It's going to be used for lawn work. It's going to be private for the front house on the south side. I didn't put every new lot has to have 2 trees. So I only had 4 trees because I said, well, there's nowhere to put them in the front or in the back for the rear lot. So what we've done is we revised, and there's now 6 trees out in the front as required by Maureen's comment. All the 2 new lots, 2 new houses will have all their utilities underground. We're showing the power line going to the rear lot and obviously up the front. There's sewer in the back, so they go through the property, so they'll be connected to the sewers. Another comment was about the driveway meeting the fire safety standards. Well, Tommy was going to meet with the fire department. I don't think they have any concerns. We're, I think, about 130 feet long or 150 feet on going back in the driveway. Pavement in the front, we're taking out some of the material. Some of the question was we're going to, part of the mitigation for the wetlands is to take material out in the back. There is a point where we're showing stockpile, but we're going to have to use a lot of that material to create lawn in the front, where we're taking out all the blacktop that's out in the front there. So that blacktop will come out, and a lot of the material that's in the back is going to go out there. Like I said, the town engineer's comments that we had last time were all corrected, and as Tommy said, he met with Maureen about it. The other 2 comments on Maureen's question is, number 1, sidewalks, whether the commission would require us to have sidewalks and also open space. Those two issues are, we'd politely ask for a waiver of the sidewalks. There is an existing sidewalk to the north that was pointed out last meeting. It's a blacktop walk. It extends about 15 feet into our property already, as it is now. It's let me show it to you here. Sidewalk it ends right about over here, and then goes across to the back of these properties. So there is an existing sidewalk. We obviously would do whatever the commission wants on those 2 issues. The existing, and I think in 1988, there was a plan done for the extension of greenhouse huts in the back of the property, actually back where the rear lot is. And in that time, there was a wetland line drawn on, and that's the only record that Jim Horrible could help us with. And that's on the drawing now. It has been. It's just a lot clearer to see where it is from than the plans I brought in last week or last time. So We've added on, conservation easement on the back, and that's the green hatched area in the back. It's going to be, outlined by a stone wall, if you will, and then at the critical points where we're gonna have a signage put on the stones, there'll be a larger boulders to, at every critical point that's required. Other than that, the gravel, like Tommy says, the gravel driveway that loops in and around is gonna be taken out, so that will be an excavation down my, property I go to quite often for coffee. The next door neighbor had a big parking lot. He peeled off the parking lot and then put some topsoil on. He can't understand why the grass won't grow because the base is all there and it's cooking every summer. So, like Tom says, we got to dig that all out, get down to some dirt, and then so the material that's going out in the back will stay on the site, most of it, and be used for improvements. Other than that, our engineer will get to you about the drainage. The two rear lots we're also introducing sump pumps into them, and then some Caltech chambers. So he'll discuss that. But other than that, it's pretty much my ballgame.
Okay, I've asked Alexa for the purpose of sharing with our commissioners online. I've asked her to see if she can put the plan, the one that you refer to here, up for those commissioners so that they could see exactly what it looks like. And while he's doing that, I think, pardon? Oh, okay.
Before George comes up and while Alexa's doing that, quickly, I'll just run down this quickly for you, just so you know. Recommend modifications and conditions. The applicant confirm and provide subdivision plan that calculation 6.2 has been compliant, contiguous 42,000 square feet. That's been confirmed with Maureen and changed on the plans. Applicant demonstrate that the building square can achieve in 6.2 outside of sewers meet. That's been confirmed and done on the plans. In accordance with regulations, all utilities shall be installed underground. I'm confirming that as well, and that's done on the plans. Any DOT approvals be obtained. We've got existing 2 curb cuts. We may need a third. We're going to speak with that, but that they said to speak to them only if approved. So we're okay with that. 2 additional trees. Jack talked about that. The rear lot driveway, improved satisfaction. Fire Marshal talked to Steve Woznia. Said he was fine with it. He just wanted to make sure that it was 12 feet wide with compressed processed stone. That's all he needs. So he's happy there. We did that. Excess pavement to be removed and replaced. That's part of our wetlands application and part of the engineering. Existing items, equipment structures to be cleaned. That's pretty much done. The outstanding comment subject to satisfaction of the commenting department. We met with everyone there and did that. The open space, Maureen writes to you in regard to the subdivision that you may waive it. We were asking for a waiver. If we're not granted that waiver, Maureen said that I could bring up a fee in lieu of open space. And then Kensington Fire District, they went to the meeting on Monday and they voted to approve their what's the former town manager said she was going to get what's her name? Denise McNair. Thank you. She's going to get a letter in, but that's all set. And grading and drainage, and I think it's your turn, Mr. Cotter.
You kind of breezed over open space. So we've talked about open space and you said a fee in lieu of open space. I mean, how does that play? I guess I'm not familiar with that.
So correct me if I'm wrong, Paula, but I believe there's an appraisal done on the property and the as-is condition, not the before the subdivision, and then it's 10% of that. And it would be, and typically it's been paid per lot, so you put something in the subdivision or the deed that so if I transfer, for example, house 1, and let's just say it was $9,000. On transfer house number 1, I would pay you the $3,000 before I got the CO. House number 2, the next 3. That's how we've done it before when I've had those feelings. I'm sure it'll change.
No, I think that that's pretty much stabilized.
You have a provision in your regs.
Yeah.
And then my second question, I'm sorry, we kind of cover over a couple of times. It was mentioned that materials are going to be stored as construction's being done. Also, we talked about the cement that's being removed. Is the cement going off-site, or is it being buried, or is that a part of the material?
So cement, are you talking, do you mean parking lot? Yeah, the parking lot, I think our plan was to mill it. And then when you mill it, you can use it for the base for the new driveways.
Oh.
And we'll keep it on site. But yeah, mill it up, then put it stockpile and never use it.
Yeah, because I guess one of my concerns was storing materials as you're excavating the homes and builds and so forth, that that it doesn't fall into the green space in the back, that it would stay on the actual property of the homes.
Well, yeah, that's sorry, but that's that whole green space area is going to be a very technical and overseen project. There's supposed to be supervision when it's done. So, and staff will be out there. Mr. Horrible will be out there. But yeah, no, the intent's to store it up in front, right behind the existing building, existing house, and then spread it for that driveway once that's done.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mr. Hamel.
I have a question for Mr. Kokomo, your engineer. So to my recollection, I said on this meeting when they were talking, a neighbor came forward and was talking about, you brought in approximately 60 triaxles of fill. I just would like to know how that changed the elevation of that property, or did you just fill in the wetlands there?
Well, so I didn't bring in any fill. The fill that he was talking about was brought in, and it was brought in for that millings. A lot of that was millings, and the elevation of property hasn't changed. The engineer will tell you it's flat.
Well, I have a question. And if you brought in millings, I'm not saying you didn't bring in or what. I don't know how much you brought in, but you brought in something there. So how didn't the elevation change?
Well, I don't know how the elevation would change because I didn't bring. Again, I brought in 0. When I took this property over, the millings were already in place, and they went around from the north side or from the south side all the way around to the north side. And so there was maybe some grading done to put those millings in. There's a road, and that's the semi-impervious part of the property that's going to be removed. And no wetlands, those wetland flags, there was no evidence of wetlands filled by me. And there was no evidence, the evidence of the filling within the upland review area or the old wetland line was done, they said 2 or 3 times, and could have gone back to as far as 1986. And that comes from Danny over at the Kensington Fire District, who was the superintendent at the time when they brought that storm sewer through the property.
So my question is this, cut and dry. So when you acquired that property, you did not bring in any fill whatsoever? Nothing?
Nothing.
Okay. Madam Chair, the
Yes.
concern I have while we're on this subject is, and it kind of puzzles me that the people that from Vineyard, the last time we were in this meeting, were talking about they've never had water in their basements, and all of a sudden now they got water. So
Yeah.
something has changed. And I don't know what it is. Maybe who knows what it is, but it's just a concern of mine, Mr. Kokomo. And in your test pits, as a question for your engineer, your test pits. So you go down what, 8 feet?
Yes, we went down for 8 feet.
So is it 8 feet after fill? Or is it 8 feet from your millings? Is it 8 feet virgin soil? What is it?
We did test pits from the existing contours down 8 feet, and after 4 feet, it was virgin soil. So within that back area, those 4 spots, and I don't know exactly because there was 4 test pits and they're all different. It might have been 3.5, could have been 4.5, but they averaged about 4. There was multiple fill periods. Now, and I appreciate your concern for the neighbors, but I do have to say, allegations can be made and allegations can be said, but we've been through this process through site plan when it was Walpole and that same allegation was made. Then we were in wetlands with that same allegation was made, and now they're making the same allegation. For the record, no one on the other side has spent a dime to prove to us that we've made any difference or the previous owners or anyone has created problems on their lot or in their basement. So it's kind of unfair for not just for anyone to take anything I say maybe with a grain of salt, and then what they say is gospel. They could have brought an engineer and shown us that they have water. Now that site is lower, just so you're aware, lower, and if you look at the maps, than both the neighbors to the left or north and to the south. And the neighbor to the north is substantially higher. Now that was Mr. Hall's house. And if you speak to Alan Hall, like I do, he'll tell you he filled his property. Now it wasn't wetlands, but he filled his property to bring his house up because of the proximity to the wetlands.
Now, I just, I'm not, listen, I want to see Berlin flourish and, and whatever you want to do. But the problem that I have as a commissioner, as a resident of Berlin, is that we need to protect the people that live there. And I just have, Tommy, I just have a problem sitting on this commission and having someone come to me and tell me that somebody, and from what I understand, at the time you own that land and there was fill brought in. So maybe this person is just seeing dump trucks come in, or maybe there's lying going on. But I just have a problem with the fact that something's been brought into this property, or it has. I just want to get to the bottom of it before I make a decision from my point of view, because something has changed there.
Yeah.
No, Scott, listen, I appreciate it. That's your job. I believe one of your jobs is, and that's why we have public meetings for the public, right? And you have to take their comments into consideration. All I'm saying to you is, I appreciate that and I understand where you're coming from. But number one, if 60 trucks of fill were brought into that site, I mean, I just overheard.
It's a lot of fill.
That's a lot of trucks, right?
Yeah.
And you know as well as I do that if 5 trucks are brought into any site, the neighbors call.
Yeah.
And Madam Chair just spoke to Carl Ciarci about the fill because of what's going on at Benarup's, and the neighbors call. I don't know how many trucks have been brought into there, but trucks, 60 trucks, Jim Horrible would have been called, Public Works would have been called, and they would have been all over.
I mean, Tommy, I'm not, like I say, I'm not picking on you. I don't want you to think that. I just want a clarification. That's all I'm asking for. I don't, hey, he said, she said, I can care less. But the question, that was my question. Why you own that property? Did you bring any fill into there? That's it. It's simple.
No, Scott, I get it. I understand, but I just really think when it comes to development, you do hear a lot of the neighbors come out and they have every right to do so. But when they make strong allegations, like I have flooded their basement, or since I've owned it, I've flooded their basement. I mean, that's tough.
That was the last meeting, though, Tommy. You were here.
We do have to take that into consideration.
But Tommy, you were here last meeting. I think your brother was here, and there was someone from the area who did come forward and state that. And that's the only reason I'm asking you. I mean, like I say, I'm not picking on you. I just, I have a concern, and that's it. I have nothing more to say, Madam Chair. I just want to voice my opinion. That's it, Tommy. And I don't want any hard feelings. Just that's how it is.
Yeah.
No hard feelings, Scott. I mean, my hard feelings are to the neighbors when they make those accusations, and I think they're just I mean, if my neighbor did something to my house, he would know about it personally. I wouldn't come, whether it's through
Yeah.
a lawyer or not, right?
But like you say, I do have a job to do as a commissioner, and
Yep.
that's bottom line.
That's what you're doing.
All
Let me
right,
ask you,
thank you, Tommy.
all right, let
Thank
me
you,
ask
madam.
a question. Yeah, thank you. You said that the house in the rear lot, you would have sump pumps in there? Is that what you said?
No, what I said is we made provisions if we hit groundwater and you've had the foundation down low enough where you were concerned about groundwater,
Yeah.
that we provide a provision for a sump pump in the house, and that we put a galley in the ground to pump it into and let it recharge back into the ground or eventually overflow back to the brook. This property flows from the road gradually back. The elevation at the front at the road's around 78, and at the rear of the property, or 178, I'm not quite sure. And at the rear, it's 71, where the brook course runs along the back. So the water shedding from this property for the proposed 3 houses gradually flow back and reach the wetland area that's been reclaimed, where fill was placed in an earlier time. And also, the property, it consists of the pavement for the original building, a process road that walks all the way around the property from the south side to the rear and to the north, and then back to the main road, Timberland Highway. All of this material is going to be removed, including the pavement for the original building on site. What you're going to put back in is lawns, and we're going to allow for the gradual flow of that water back to recharge the wetland area that's been reclaimed. There was excavation material taken out there. So for that portion, we reduced the amount of water running off of this property by about 35 to 40% from each lot. And so we made provisions to, if there's groundwater, when the basement is installed, that we have the provisions for a sump pump to eliminate that water.
Okay, thank you. Commissioners, all right.
I'd like to address my concerns that were on last meeting. Now that you have this 1991 wetland line in here, I can see where it was filled over someone's time. And with the new test pits that you've done and knowing what the depth of those are, is now changed my concern, because I know that's been filled over the years. I watched it be filled, okay? And it's been filled probably from almost behind the nursery to all the way back. Okay, there is a different level there. But with that said, with every town, every house in Berlin needs a sub pump put in it, or contingency for a sub pump, because Berlin is clay, and Berlin has water. That's a thing in Berlin, and but I see the concerns have been addressed. I see that your new house is forward of that old wetland line now. That's one thing was my concern. I want to make sure that the neighbors are addressed. I think personally, that the tar sidewalk should continue across the front of this property. It's just like the rest. We did it tar because it's Chamberlain Highway, and when we subdivided those houses north of there, I remember that being a tar instead of concrete. So I think the concerns, at least to me, with the calculations I saw for our town engineer now of drainage and stuff like that, the applicant doing more calculations too, I've been satisfied. And I'm probably one of the ones who was the worst one when you got here. But my concerns have been satisfied now. That's where I am.
Okay.
I wasn't at the last meeting, so I don't know if this question was asked. This was a nursery. Was it ever tested for any contamination or anything?
We did a title search on the property and it was, it came back clean. It was a nursery, but they didn't, wasn't a nursery like planting nursery, right, where you would spray. It was an old nursery that would resell. So it was, through the title search coming back through the financing, they said there was no need.
Okay, good. And it looks like you're gonna have a gravel driveway all around these homes? How's that gonna work in the winter?
No,
I'm-
well, yeah.
That's not gonna be my problem, but it's gonna be somebody's.
But last house I built, we put a gravel driveway and the woman said, I'll buy the house. We put a paved driveway in, we put the paved driveway in. So we like to let it sit for a while, let it, and so it compacts over a period of time, and it depends when you do that construction. Don't like to put an asphalt driveway over like newly maneuvered materials.
Okay, so this plan that you're submitting at this point could change. As you indicate gravel here, it
We
would
indicate
change.
gravel, and if one of the homeowners requests a paved driveway, we have to come through the permit process and get a driveway permit.
He comes back to us and,
Just
No, goes to
No?
deposit.
Just
Administrative.
okay, thank you.
Yeah,
yes, you talked about the rear lot driveway, and I know there is regulations in place for rear lots now. It was certain, I think it was 12-foot wide, but then there was, the edges had to be almost 3 feet each side compact. Okay, so I just want to make sure that standard for that rear lot driveway is met, because I see that the driveways, well, I don't know what it is called right now, but you got a 20-foot right of way going back there, so you got rows to put it in the way. Yeah, compacted on each side of a 12-foot driveway, yeah. Yeah. Oh, we did those new standards.
I'm going to ask the obvious question. Instead of 3 houses, have you thought of just going with the first 2 and just having them enjoy this nice, luxurious backyard, open space?
I have not.
No, isn't that nice thing? Because as I'm looking at, I'm going, this could be such,
At that meeting at planning, at that site
Yeah.
plan meeting, I think you said, actually, you may have said 2, and I think it was you, June, I said 3. I think I said, no, it's 3, because I knew. Everyone said, that's fine.
I'm kind of looking at it, but I don't know. Isn't the rear lot a special permit? Alexa? Okay. Any other questions from the commission? So we're in public hearing. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to address the application, either for or against? Hearing none. Going back to the commission, we're in public hearing. Any questions? All right. So what do we want to do?
Make a motion to approve.
No.
Or in public hearing, so we didn't close public hearing.
Oh,
Make a motion to close the public hearing.
okay. Motion to close the public hearing by Mr. Zigmont. Do we have a second by Ms. Jorsey? Further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, so moved. Okay. Now we're into deliberations, the fun part. So first up is Mr. Kokomo with the 3-lot subdivision, 398 Chamberlain Highway, Shuttle Meadow. Okay, so we're deliberating now.
So,
Who wants to start?
just, a point of order. Commissioner Miller mentioned that she was not present at the last meeting.
Well, did you listen to the tape? Did you see the recording? Oh, no.
So, which is not seated.
So you didn't watch the Zoom? All right, okay. So you are recused for this? You,
He can do it.
so you will now be seated for Miss Miller. Okay.
And it looks like Brian dropped off.
Do we lose Brian? Oh, he is? Okay. Just can't see him. All right. Okay, so deliberation then. Thoughts? I don't know. I have this thing where I just keep looking at this plot plan and I'm thinking about some pumps and I'm thinking about 8 feet versus 10 feet if you're going down for a foundation. And I don't know, I just think that this would be a much nicer development if we could just bring it down to the 2 front parcels with the nice enriched backyards for them to enjoy, because obviously you're going to have the Chamberlain Highway there, so you have traffic, and it would be kind of nice if these folks had some place to retreat and and not have to worry about they go into their backyard and they got a house in the backyard or whatever. But that's my thought, and I think the concern that was brought up with the neighbors regarding the drainage or whatever. Mr. Hamill was correct in revisiting it, because as a commissioner, anytime somebody brings something to our attention, it's our duty to pursue it and to make sure the issues are addressed. But that's just how I see the plan. But anyway, anyone else?
I'm not sure personally if I have a preference one way or the other, but I see by eliminating the third house, that rear house, it would provide for more of a wildlife corridor,
Oh, that's true.
which seems to me to be maybe more bigger, wider on the north and south, but I can't say that with certainty because it's hard to judge based on the map versus in person.
Yeah, but that's a valid point too, is because we do have the wetlands. The wetlands were disturbed. They did the work on the wetlands, which we appreciate, but it would bring us back to providing the wildlife corridor, so there would be no encroachment on it, less traffic there, and so we keep the little animals happy.
So there's a request regarding the open space, which I would be in favor of the fee in lieu of. It was suggested to us that we should maybe consider that more frequently, and this might be a site that's appropriate for.
Okay. Are you suggesting the fee in lieu of the open space?
Fee in lieu of open space would be my preference.
Okay. All right. Anyone else? Yes, June.
I just appreciated the updated drawings and the additional information today, so I appreciate we were responded to kindly. It looks like our staff has approved it as a 3-home with all of their reviews, so things are in place to address the concerns that we had, that they're been okayed or reviewed, so I'm okay with the 3 homes. My one question was the neighbor that's next to that.
Now, there were in deliberations, so.
Oh, no, yeah, I didn't know if we remember. No, I know, I meant
Let's
from
talk
last
about-
meeting. And we talked about, and maybe I'll pause it because it's mute at this point, because we talked about open space and taking the money in lieu. So I'll discontinue my next question
Yeah.
to the panel.
See, I think that's all like nice open space back there. But, all right, anyone, Steve, how about you? Comments, questions, concerns? Going back to Mr. Hamill and Mr. Rogan online.
Madam
Comments?
Chair, I agree with the other commissioners. I like the open space in the back there. And that's probably all I have to say. I'm a fan of that.
Okay, but All right, now I just got confused a little bit. So just to clarify that, are you saying that with the open land back there, are you talking about the third house or are you talking about? In other words, are you looking at the buffer around the wetlands as the open space? Maybe he's having a problem unmuting. No, all right. Well, I'll switch over to Brian Rogan. Brian, do you
Yeah,
have any, do you have any
no,
questions?
I mean, it looks like our staff did a lot of work with the applicant on this project. As far as the 3 houses go, so I'm comfortable with it. I would agree with Commissioner Jorsey on doing the fee in lieu of, the open space in the lease. But, yeah, I'm good with it.
All righty. I saw Mr. Hamill, you kind of clicked on, clicked off. Did you want to comment or anything, Scott?
No comment.
All right, okay.
Okay, I'll make a motion.
All right.
I'm assuming the commission prefers to not allow the sidewalk waiver, so is that a correct assumption? Okay.
Well, that's a correct assumption, yeah.
So I will make a motion to approve this subdivision as presented without allowing the sidewalk waiver that was requested and to require payment of a fee in lieu of open space and subject to staff comments.
Okay. We have a motion. Do we have a second? All right, second by Mr. Zigma. Further discussion?
Special permit.
Yeah, it's a special permit for the third house.
So, gotta approve the special part of it.
Do you have to take this separately?
I don't know.
Because
Just the procedure.
yeah, because the first 2 houses in the front are part of the subdivision, but the special permit, at least that's what I understood from Maureen, the special permit applies to the third house in the rear.
Back lot.
That's the back lot.
Third lot triggers a special permit, but the subdivision is still a 3-lot subdivision. They don't need a
I
separate.
don't, it's not listed separately. I don't believe that you do either. Because, you know, it is part of the overall subdivision application, the rear lot. Yeah, I think that's fine. It's not separately listed.
All right. So we have the motion as it stands. So further discussion. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Aye. Just because I think, I know this would be a better project if it was just two homes and not the third in the back. All right, but you got it anyway. Merry Christmas, everyone. All right, so that's that. Do you want to?
Were the votes audible?
Were the votes audible for them?
I didn't hear their votes.
Okay,
I did not either, and I am.
okay, you're concerned?
I was opposed.
That's what Brian was for.
All right, so Scott was opposed. Brian, were you for or against the project?
I voted for it.
Okay, all right.
Thank you for clarifying.
All right, thank you. Thank you for catching that. All right, well, you're still good. I was opposed. Yeah, because I wanted it as a 2-lot with the open in the back. Yeah, that's good. That's all right. Don't worry. Life is good. Life is good. All right, that's that. So on to the text amendment for Newport, but we continued that. All right, so now Commissioner Business, discussion of potential text amendments for agricultural supplementary uses and historic property reuse. Are you suffering, Mr. Edge? Are you here to address us with this? Oh, okay. What happened to Miss Alexa? Okay, all right, that's fine. That's fine. So now I can. Oh,
Brian, I sent to your personal email addresses, just a document with regard to this first discussion item. If you want to take a look.
I don't know if this was all.
I'll give you.
I have so many papers here. I don't know what applies to the current and what they know. Can I get rid of all this paper?
Thank you.
Can I get rid of all of this paper? All right.
Give you a little bit of background about this. So this discussion item originated out of a meeting that was held concerning the recent issuance of what you see before you, a certificate of zoning compliance by your zoning enforcement officer, Pauline Morbidelli, for the real property at 2053 Chamberlain Highway. Application for issuance of the certificate had been made by Chad Moran, and Mr. Moran is actually here. He's been sitting patiently
I know.
to just observe the discussion. On behalf of Arbor Farms LLC, which is a prospective purchaser of the 4-acre property currently owned by Bostrom and Sons Tree Farm LLC, and it's zoned POD, so it's in POD zone. The application identifies, you'll see this on the second page of the application. So the copy is double-sided. There's a description of the project in use, and it's indicating expansion of existing tree farm, sale of all materials currently sold on site, including firewood mulch, topsoil, and Christmas trees, and construction of a building with a greenhouse to run the farm. Please see attached letter and concept layout plan, so you'll see those at the end. There's also a letter from Mr. Moran attached to the application. It's dated September 29th, and it identifies the proposed uses of the proposed building. So you'll see those as an office for farm operation, a greenhouse for planting operations, and an apartment designated from the farm caretaker. But that's not really what our focus is for tonight. And so Alexa is going to put up for you. She does, I know we typically use sort of the format of you being able to view what the existing regulation is. So you able to, yeah, share that with them. But you'll see too, and this is kind of, again, just kind of giving you the background. So what happened was Paul, your CEO, he did approve the certificate of zoning compliance. What's important, though, there arose a question. And you'll see in the second paragraph of Mr. Moran's letter, it has details regarding the operation of Arbor Farms, and it includes the intent. Again, I'm looking at the letter that's at page 3 of what I handed out. And again, Scott and Brian, you should have this with you too. In your email.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now as we go.
Okay, great. You'll see kind of towards the end of that paragraph, Mr. Moran discloses he's an arborist, he's an owner of Moran Tree Service. And with the current model, this form requires much of the same equipment used for the tree service to carry out daily operations for the farm. So he says, with this site approval, I'm seeking a permission from the town to house machines for Moran Tree Service LLC in the structure and on site to aid in farm operations. So as seen on the concept plan, the layout design intentionally designates space in the rear of the lot for earth products, maintaining an elegant farm appearance for the Chamberlain Highway. So there arose a question. Mr. Moran has attorney Coleman Levy, and he subsequently requested from your CEO clarification as to whether Moran Morris Tree Service LLC would be considered a permitted use under the POD district regulations. And so the ZO did explain, you know, what your uses are on POD, that they include agricultural, commercial greenhouses and professional offices, and there's some additional language with regard to that, and then limited accessory uses incidental to the principal building, that the regulations don't allow a clean contractor, contractor shop, landscaper contractor, contractor's yards, or any similar commercial contractor use as a permitted use or as a use allowed in the zone pursuant to a special permit. So he ultimately concluded, and as counsel, I agree with this, that the tree service business or any tree service business such as Morin's is essentially functionally categorized as a contractor yard or landscape or contractor use under your regs. It involves the off-site provision of commercial services, storage of heavy vehicles, related equipment, staging, and all of which are not permitted within the POD. And that the agricultural or farm operations are a permitted use in the POD. So that's important to keep in mind, provided that they are a bona fide agricultural activity conducted on site and not commercial contractor operations. So we had some back and forth about it, and Paul felt that if the intent was solely to store and utilize shared equipment and direct support of the farm operations conducted on the same parcel, that the activity could be treated as accessory to the agricultural use, subject to staff verification of the bona fide farm operation. But if the intent was to include operating or dispatching a commercial tree service business, offsite work, equipment storage, employee dispatch, etc., then such activity would constitute a contractor's yard and not be permitted in the POD. So he also said that any activity associated with Morin's Tree Service beyond the incidental storage of equipment used for on-site farm operations would be non-conforming to the POD zone's permitted uses. I wanted to point out something that I thought, because I did participate remotely in the meeting. Mr. Edge was there on behalf of Economic Development. Your town manager was present. Alexa was present, your ZO. I don't believe Maureen was at the meeting. She was not able to attend, but Mr. Morin was there with his counsel, and he shared that overall what his intention is to expand the nature of the agricultural products grown and sold to include other species of trees. Personally, I'm a little bit of I'm a land use nerd, and so it was an interesting conversation about, that's really the overall desire. He wants to expand the species of trees that are offered, the shrubs that grow shrubs on the property, have those available obviously for sale, as well as these additional species outside of just Christmas trees, because that's principally what they're selling is, again, Christmas trees. And the description, they're also selling firewood, they're selling mulch, they're selling topsoil. And of course, he also emphasized that the mulch is necessary to keep the trees healthy. So I thought that those were important points I wanted to just point out to you. But Alexa did come up with this, some of this language that you're seeing before you, just in terms of, because the idea is from our thinking, and I said that really what I thought was most appropriate, most suitable in terms of the avenue for them to pursue to obtain potential approval for these desired supplementary uses would be to submit a text amendment to you to allow for the uses under specific conditions in the zone. So she came up with this great term, agricultural or agriculture support services, and I'm going to turn it over to her to just talk about sort of what the thoughts are. And you'll see too, in those last bullets, just some of the considerations, and I've talked to Polly quite a bit about this, just some of the considerations that we think you need to take into account. So I'll turn it over to her.
I'm sorry, I was distracted by Chris. What am I?
Sorry, I was giving her a fist bump because I like the language.
Good 100%, your language.
So I came up with a definition that's will work for the applicant, but for people in the future, it opens up, I think, agriculture support services. But I was careful with how I worded it, that it wouldn't lead to contractor shops. So I specifically called out agriculture, forestry products. Um, so I feel that tree removal would fit into forestry related agriculture service. They already do mulch there. And then just some things I think we should consider is either limiting the storage or requiring screening, hours of operation, what kind of equipment would be allowed, and just ensuring that the primary use remains agricultural.
So we just kind of wanted to get your thoughts on.
And we do think it would be specific just to the POD zone, not agriculture in general.
Just took it off. This is an expansion of the tree place that's there now. They're buying a piece of property next to it and expanding the operation. Is that true?
You gotta speak up.
Well, I think just in terms, again, as I understood it, and, Mr. Moran is here, it's
Yeah.
okay if you have questions for him. If you want to have him come forward to the podium, but, my sense again was the way that he explained it is that he wants to continue with what they're currently doing, but he wants to be able to grow additional species of trees, have equipment to support those operations on site that are, it's more in tree service equipment that he uses in his tree service as well. And that's ultimately, so there's going to be a sort of a broader range of trees that are going to be offered, and shrubs and the like, that are going to be offered to folks.
But it's expansion of the service that's there right now, right?
Yeah.
Because he bought more property and he's expanding the operation. With that, I think we got to look back to a little history. I think this was a special permit in the zone at the time that this started. Okay. And if it's a special permit, this is the expansion of the special permit. And I just want to make sure that we do it right. I don't have any problem with the expansion. If you're building another building on the property, that's another thing, because now,
That's a separate issue.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
don't have all the details of
right.
that.
Uh,
I don't think you necessarily need to.
If you expanding the tree growing to the next property and expanding the whole system, then if it was a special permit, it is agriculture, it's growing something, so it is agriculture, so it does fit, except when you're selling off property or having people come in and buying stuff, so I just want to make sure the second piece of property, if it gets along with the first property, the same regulations, whatever.
Mr. Moore,
in
Mr.
place.
Moore, Mr. Moran, why don't you come up to the podium, because this is important to you, and I know that you want to address some of the questions that the commission may have regarding your idea. I just have a problem with storing machinery or heavy equipment, tree grooming equipment, because I imagine you're going to have one of those chutes and ladder things, to get to the cherry pickers or whatever. Chutes and ladder. Well, it's going to, what do they call them? Bucket trucks. I imagine you're going to have that. you might have a little dump truck, you might have, you're gonna have heavy equipment. And now it's looking like something else to me rather than agricultural. It's not like you got an old John Deere that you're gonna fire up, you know?
Yeah, so I'm happy to answer any of these questions. I'm here actually today because I want to be upfront about everything that I'm doing here. But first to just answer the what's been discussed already, there isn't a second parcel involved. It's just one parcel. So when I said expansion of the trees, what I meant was currently on this piece, maybe 15% of the parcel, and there is an A2 survey included in there that's existing conditions. I'm not sure which page it is, towards the back. There's not a lot of coverage for existing tree plot, and it's all Christmas tree. So Christmas trees that are grown are propagated in a way that they have somewhat of a weak root system. They're designed to be cut annually and put in your living room. And so the business model that I want to run on this farm is more of a nursery style propagation business plan. So we grow trees with the intent to replant. And so I do want to specialize and continue on with the shade trees, the spruce, fir, specifically arborvitae. But I do, as my skills evolve and I start to master this a little bit better, I want to get into ornamental plantings and flowering dogwoods and things to enhance people's landscapes more specifically. So with the plan that I included, I think right behind that A2 survey, I have a very rough concept plan layout. It more or less mimics what is currently going on the farm. And on the A2 survey, you can see that, well, he currently actually does sell the mulch up front near the Chamberlain Highway. I do not intend on doing that. I want to keep all of the earth materials, if you will, in the rear. So to answer your concerns of it like looking like a contractor yard, it will not be, nothing will be visible. And that also is part of the reason for the building itself too, to keep this a very clean looking agricultural site. So I want to push the tree plot, or one of the two tree plots, it's divided by a road, one of them up towards the Chamberlain Highway, which is currently used. I think he grows a little bit of lettuce up there and some seasonal vegetables. I want to turn that into a bigger tree plot there. Put a structure kind of sunk in a little bit towards the middle of the lot, but also hedged towards the rear. And that's where like any machinery or anything will be stored. It's also at a lower elevation too. As far as the machinery goes, with the plan that I intend on pursuing, there's going to be a lot of transplanting of these trees, and my intent is to grow the largest stock possible. It's the most valuable. You're going to need machines to spade them up and move them, dig holes, replenish the plots, etc. There's a little bit more involved than just propagating Christmas trees. And so that's the reason why it's the machines that I already own for the tree service play a direct role in the success of this business model. I'm happy to answer any questions.
I'm sorry, when I looked at this drawing was here, it looked like you bought piece of property behind it where your trees are now.
No, so there is, I mean, I don't even necessarily, I'm just going to say this. I mean, there is a desire to lease out some land behind the property. There was talks from the seller that was possible. And if that's possible, I would like to extend an additional growing plot back there. But as far as conversations with that landowner, I haven't had them. I don't know if that's going to happen or not.
I sold Christmas trees for 40 years. I know Christmas tree farms pretty good. I don't have no problem with a Christmas tree farm. It's just the way it was drawn, and I thought maybe you're expanding the.
And you said you're interested in an 8,000. Well, I don't know if we really need to get. Do we need to get into these specifics? No.
We need to get into the building because.
No, I just
specific proposal as of yet with regard to that. And I think he needs to have some discussions with staff to get some guidance with regard to what's provided in the regulations regarding greenhouses. You just approved a residential use for agricultural, but it's for single family, so I don't think he's aware of that. So I think they need to kind of get into the specifics.
Yeah,
of
all
that.
right.
That's not sort of where the focus of any of the discussions have been with staff. It's been, this concern, when your ZO signed it, he signed it for Arbor Farms LLC, not for Morin to have a component where, they're also using the property. So that's, we're trying to figure out what's the best way to do this. We think the text amendment is appropriate. Really, it's not appropriate for it to be a use variance. It's not. So this is really the path on behalf of your staff and council that we think is most appropriate. So we wanted to get some input to be able to guide them in terms of preparing a text amendment application. Again, I think that, Alexa's come up with a great term here. And it's got some elements to it, just again, pointing out it's allowing for the equipment storage that we know that he wants to be able to do. But she talks about the processing, agricultural and forestry, grown on-site or off-site. So there's that piece as well. And there's specific prohibition. It shall not include general contractor shops, construction yards, equipment depots, unrelated to agriculture. So, there's elements here. And again, those bullets are meant for you, to kind of focus, maybe some input and guidance that you could give us. And listen, it's got to go through a process. This is not limiting you in any way. We do this so that we're able to facilitate in terms of, helping somebody to prepare a regulation. The regulations are yours. We want you to see things that you want to see. That's my perspective, and I know staff shares that as well, because we're here to support you. That's our role.
And if I could just add, both Chad and his attorney, Coleman Levy, have been very open to guide us on the way to make this happen. This is something Chad wants to do. The good news is Chad is college-educated arborist. He's not a guy with 4 chainsaws. The idea, I don't mean to be blunt, but that's the reality. He wants to make this a nursery. He wants to expand what's there. He wants to do some of the things that are there. He wants to make it a cleaner use. He's still going to do some of the same things with the mulch, with the firewood. And when we were having our discussion with the attorney on the line, the big word that we had come up with, which was supplemental, which is something that actually supplies the farm. The trees from the tree service do supply the farm for firewood, etc. I think what Alexis put here is actually perfect, because I think without a doubt, anything in the POD zone needs to support what's happening on the farm, because we don't want to see what happened over at 2215 with big trucks, because it is still an agricultural zone. It's just a guidance from this body on how do we make this work, because essentially it's what do we need to do to help make it work for Chad, because he wants to do this. The good news is it'll continue as an agricultural use. It'll grow as an agricultural use. And I know that Keith has done a great job there, but Chad has a whole different vision, and I think it fits into a lot of what we had there for many years, and Chad wants to bring it back.
And if I could just add one more thing, I'm not looking in any way I'm more or less looking for just these two entities to coincide. It's a huge financial burden to get this thing going, and I don't have the financial power to finance another set of machines to run the farm. I'm not looking for necessarily a home for my business. I don't want to advertise out of here. I want this to be Arbor Farms, separate entity. I'm just looking for a way to make it work and to be able to grow this as fast as I can and have a successful nursery for out of Berlin.
Okay. Anything else? All right. I just, so that staff is aware, I'm very sensitive to this whole area, only because of our experience with the growth in this area. It has nothing to do with you. I'm talking about previous applications. Some of them have been tremendous disappointments, and some of them, we didn't have anything to say about them. It was just plopped there. But that being said, we're supposed to be trying to protect this area of town. And that was the charge of the POCD, and I think we have sort of failed at that. But looking forward, anything that's going to be done there is going to be really scrutinized, only because of some of the previous applications, and that's no bearing on you or what your thought process is. But that's the only thing.
Yeah, just to mention as well, this is the very last property,
Yeah.
the
well,
northern side of the POD zone.
Yeah.
I think if it's not continued agriculture with Chad, I don't know whether or not, again, does someone come in and just make it a home site? Don't know if they will or not.
Yeah.
And just the, it's sad, but the reality is that it is, I mean, we were talking about the fact that from a traditional farming, and again, I'm not going to speak completely to it because our vice chairman knows better than most. Our growing season is very short, and trying to make it work financially is a challenge.
Yeah.
Chad is also looking to really expand it, and I think from everything seen, I've heard, I think he is going to make us proud on what he's going to do. It's just your guidance to get there.
Yeah. All right. Well, those are my concerns at this point. Is there anything from either, Scott Hamill has his hand up.
Madam Chair, I'm listening to this very carefully, and I have to be honest with you, I kind of like it. And I think that as far as his trucks go, I mean, driving down that and looking at the farm, if those trucks and vehicles are far enough back, you're not going to even see them. You know, and I really like this idea for that piece of land, because up the road you have, what is that grower there?
H2O Farms.
Oh, I don't like
No,
that one. No,
Chamberlain.
Oh, yeah.
Chamberlain
the Chamberlain
Growers. I mean, it kind of coincides with that little piece of property there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, that's just my opinion, and I like to see this happen.
Okay.
You know, I really, and as far as, like I say, I know the concern is the trucks and so on and so forth, but after looking at H2O Farm, I think this is a great thing.
Yeah.
You know, and that's just my opinion.
Yeah. No, and that's that's why you're here. Mr.
Oh, boy.
Rogan, do you have anything you'd like to say?
No, I think we can make this work. And like Mr. Hamill was saying, Commissioner Hamill was saying, you know, it does coincide with the area, and it is a highway, so it's not like truck traffic is abnormal. Yeah.
Okay. All righty. Well, and so.
Marta, just one thing you wanted just to add.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess if you have any questions about as far as like truck use, and the amount of volume of trucks coming in and out, I mean, you did mention the H2O farm. It's not gonna have tractor trailers coming in every day. I think that Paulie's main concern was he referenced the word dispatch, and any tree work that's going to be done is going to be done off site. A truck will need to leave the site and it will need to return to the site, but it's very minimal. I'm a very small tree service. I'm not an Asplund or anything like that. And if there are concerns with future growth, I'm happy to, I have no plans on becoming a national tree service of any kind. So if that is a main concern, it's not a concern of mine.
Okay.
I have a quick question. As far as any of the wood that you may be cutting when you do your services off site there, are you planning on keeping it on your property, or? Because
it's usable for firewood. Yes, I'd like to essentially feed the firewood operation. I do almost entirely residential work. So I do come across a lot of firewood. There's not a ton of valuable timber that I'm not going to be a sawmill. I'm not going to be doing any of that.
Okay. All right. Well, this is all just in the Conception
Just,
days, okay,
just
Right.
one question, like.
yeah, all right, and then we were gonna move
You
on.
gonna be doing bulk sales
people outta
or individual people sales?
You all start.
I mean, you go have people like
Okay.
cars coming in all the time buying individual trees or are you gonna have, bulk Christmas trees go out, truckload of Christmas trees or? Well, I'm just wondering what type of operation is
Yeah, I mean,
proposed.
To be honest with you, I mean, we'll see the scale that I can provide as far as an inventory. I'd like to keep this open to the public. I mean, there are going to be landscapers that are going to want to buy product, planting for residential people as
Yeah.
well. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to be closed to the public if that's what you're referring to.
Well, it's just when you develop and then put a driveway out to Chamber Highway, we need look sight lines and everything else for, public going in and out. If it's a regular truck going in and out, it's different
Yeah.
than public going in and out
Okay.
on a highway like that.
All right, well, I think you guys got some good direction or whatever. All right,
Yeah, are there any specific comments regarding any of the, sort of those elements?
well,
You have a
I
concern?
can't really read them, but I can't really read them, so I'm gonna have to wait for the printed copy or the movie. All right, Diane.
I disagree that bringing wood from off-site to on-site constitutes agriculture. I don't necessarily have a problem with supporting this, but I think it's a commercial use. It's not. The tree service, the arboriculture service is a commercial use that is not agriculture.
There is, in our POCD, one of the goals is to look at allowing farms to engage in accessory uses that are complementary to the agriculture use.
Well, accessory use is,
Well,
I
so
know our regulations say 25% of your use could be accessory, so that has to come into effect there when you're talking about accessory use, because it does say a certain percentage, I think it's 25%.
well, and so is the intent for this to be only in the POD? Or
Yeah, that's,
are other agricultural entities allowed to take advantage of it?
so that's something that was part of the discussion. Like, because it would, again, you're talking about if it's going to be elsewhere. Okay. I think you've got to consider the limitations, requirements, any prohibitions based upon, what's abutting, right? What's in the neighborhood. And this
Size of an acreage.
this could be, it could potentially take a lot of time. That does not help him. He wants to come forward with a text amendment to be able to do what he's looking to do at this point. I thought actually you were going to comment on topsoil rather than mulch because,
Well, I'd prefer to speak separately with you
about
some of the current use, because I don't believe that it's ever been permitted.
we'll look into that.
Yeah.
I mean, we can get a sense of. I think though, his application will be his application. It's gonna obviously align with what he's presented to you are his desires for his business model and furtherance of that business model. So we just, again, just looking for input. I think we have
Work to do.
got some information, I think, and it's great that Mr. Moore has been could introduce to you again what he's proposing. So I'm sure you're going to see him again when an amendment is put together and submitted.
Oh, okay, it should be in my pack.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time too.
Thanks.
All right, Do you want to talk about historic property reuse, or can we pass on that?
Your opinion,
Okay.
what you think about it. You think that's
Historic property reuse. I think it's great as long as we can keep it historic. But unfortunately, sometimes people buy historic properties, knock them down and do something else, and then it's lost. But I don't have a problem with considering historic reuse.
We had historic properties that could be the doctor's office or a lawyer's
Oh,
office.
yeah, or a dentist office even.
You know,
want to do retail offices
Talking about.
you know,
or multi-unit housing, but with a cap on how many units, 2 or 3.
I don't know, you know.
I
Oh,
don't
yeah,
know.
we had the use of doctors and lawyers and stuff like that, a small office type thing out of your house. That's,
In a zone that doesn't allow it, they can't.
yeah.
That's a big concern is a number of the historic buildings, and we happen to be looking at a church right now. They were built in residential zones before zoning was in place. So it's trying to figure out what is viable moving forward because no, we do not want them knocked down. But someone has to get financing to purchase, fix them up, etc. And it's trying to figure out what that balance is at this point. And I know that this has been something that Lex has been working on. Actually had gotten some information from a couple other towns as well, because it is something, it's economic development, it's planning, it's historic commission, it's a lot of different pieces to it.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to see them knocked down.
No, you don't,
but we
because
don't-
once they're
we don't
gone,
wanna
they're
see
gone.
Something where you're gonna get retail or something that is gonna
Yeah.
be so auto intensive that it's gonna ruin the neighborhood.
So, yes, there is, yes, historical churches and stuff like that, I understand 100%. What can they be used for after their church?
Yeah, but the churches
know,
are beautiful.
Usually
Own churches.
some type of residential, you know,
them anymore.
but,
You need to save them.
multi-unit.
Yeah, you find
multi-unit,
purpose for 'em.
because they're so big, multi-unit residential.
Anything that we could do to save the historic structure and maintain it as much as possible, I'm all for. I'm very supportive of
Yeah,
that.
The East
To
Berlin.
give it new life.
East Berlin Methodist Church is really what we're looking at right now. It is actively on the market.
Oh,
You've had a couple discussions, and it's strange property because I think it's R7, which I think is 7,200 square feet, which is
Yeah.
a very small lot.
yeah.
It has the church and it has the parsonage.
So,
So it's trying to figure out what we do from here at this point. Initially, it come in with a use that was very, very intensive that I think we as a group decided that's not the best bet.
Yeah.
That could be something with 3 or 4
Just
families.
for your information, used to be 2 lots.
Interesting.
It was 2 lots, and the parking lot wasn't was a separate lot than the church, and it was combined.
Gotcha.
Okay, that's how they got the house in the back and the church in the front.
Yeah.
Because the lot was kind of shaped weird for the house in the back, but that's what it was. So if that helps subdividing that lot again, it may be another option,
Yeah.
Or
The church just is the one that came to the forefront. I know the historic commissions are talking about it for a while, and I think it's more probably
Yeah, you gotta save it.
bring something to you and get your
Yeah.
guidance on it, because we want to give some flexibility, but we want to be able to keep the buildings, keep the historic
Yeah.
nature.
Breathe life into it.
Not give somebody motivation to the dirt.
Yeah.
if you're looking at that, you got to look at some
Hey,
church.
You
too.
guys got your work cut out for you.
That's
And
that's a big one.
churches are one of the bigger ones because of a lot bigger property, parking lot. And also not everything is historic necessarily. So it is a bit of a challenge, but it's
Yeah. All right, any planners' comments? No, okay. All right.
1865.
Commissioners' comments? Any commissioners' comments? Okay. All right. Commissioner comments goes to Miss Millard.
The, is it MC Barber?
Yeah,
He
MC
came in
Barber.
front of us one point and he was all over the place with his plans and everything. And we told him to go back and fix it up and then come back to us. I see that he's pouring a foundation now, and I was talking with Joan and Diane about it, and she thought maybe that's phase 2. Did he, I wasn't here when he was approved, so
So,
he's doing something.
yeah, if you remember, he came back to the commission because he wanted to expand what he was approved for in the past, and we told him if he did what he was originally approved to do, he wouldn't have to come here. That's not what he wanted to do. He wanted to go beyond that. Then he decided to just do what you guys approved him to
Yeah.
do years back, whenever
Oh,
that
okay.
was.
Okay, so he's
But
good.
he's not, whatever footprint existed, he's not going beyond that.
Okay, all right, my other question is, and I brought this up, I think, to Maureen, the cigar place that's next to
Heroes.
It's pretty much like an after hours place. You do not park in the front, you park in the back. We were there one time, it was like 9:45. We were over at Heroes, and you go around the back, there's like 10 or 11 cars back there. They have like a little fire pit going. You do not go through the front door, you go through the back door, which is kind of strange. So. I'm
It's
just
like a
wondering,
little
what
speakeasy
is
or
it?
something.
What is that?
We don't know, but I don't.
You can't go in there and buy a cigar for someone. If you have your own little locker that you have your liquor in and your cigar, you can put your cigars in there. I'm just wondering what is that?
We could have a conversation with your CEO with regard to it. I have had in other towns some enforcement issues regarding cigar lounges being used for parties and other stuff, so.
Okay. I know it, and that's in a residential area there, so if they have a little fire pit going there at 2:00 in the morning,
Disturbing people.
yeah.
Sure.
All right, I can go on for another one if you want.
Take another one real quick.
I can't think of it now, so.
All right.
I actually have two quick updates. So we've been trying to reach the folks at H2O for quite a while. Had no luck. And then I received a phone call on my Berlin cell phone of the longest number I've ever seen.
Different.
No, it's a good thing. It was from Israel. It's a gentleman by the name of Lior, Laor, called me. He is the new head. They're working right now. They've shut everything down for the winter season for construction. They're working with USDA, a couple other groups on financing for H2O. So talking to somebody at this point,
Okay.
at least that's something.
Yeah.
Other good news is 1 Main Street right across from Sherwood Falls. We ended up helping them get a $30,000 assessment grant to do the last environmental stuff. And if those comes back clean, we are assuming at this point, we're going to see a proposal for probably 16 townhouses for sale to be built by the Carrier family across the street there.
Your paper goods pond and.
Yes, right across.
That parking lot that they have.
Yeah,
there.
well, just the area on the side, well, it's parking, yeah, the parking lot all the way up. It's gotten pretty nasty, but the good news is we were able to get, and I think they're talking about 16, but we got the tennis association to do the match, so the town didn't have to. So it was just kind of a nice opportunity and see what happens from here, but progress.
Okay. You better speak up because I can't hear you up on.
Happening. We make approvals here and they don't do what our approvals are and they do more. I take the example with Berlin Stone and Gravel on Christian Lane. Okay. They now have piles up on New Britain property behind it, higher than anything in town of Berlin. And piles on their property higher than, and it was only supposed to be a certain height of pile for their service. And it was only supposed to be certain amount of equipment and everything else when we went through the approvals, right? But it's so far out of hand, and I brought it up a couple times, and it's not her. And the same street on Christian Lane is 430, I think the sign says 430, there's no house there, but 430 Christian Lane, okay, is a parking lot for trucks and cars. There's over 50 cars in this place, and probably another 50 trailer trucks and stuff in there. And it's never came in for approvals or anything else. And I've complained about that too. I'm just wondering why is our zoning officer going out and looking or is he in the office only and doesn't act unless there's a complaint came? Okay? Because I brought these items up, and there's more that I brought up, but I brought items up and I don't see anything happening and change it, you know? And
Madam
I don't
Chair.
know if you don't want to get into court.
Yeah, yes, Miss,
Check status. I always say, go ahead, Grandma, I'm sorry.
I was with Commissioner Zigma. That's the property I was questioning also, because I drove down there. I said, "What the, what's going on here?" And that was a question I had at a meeting, and it seems like there was never an answer given to us. What's going on in there? I mean, you drive down there, there's got to be, like Commissioner Zigma said, 50 trucks in there on top of the cars. It looks like a dump.
Yeah, it's just
that's Christian Lane.
Christian Lane.
That
But
guy.
there's more than those two in Christian Lane. That's a problem. But it's just no action's being taken. And that's the biggest thing is my problem. Okay. If we gotta hire more zoning people,
So it is
whatever.
it is possible that there has actually been action taken. It may be that there was correspondence sent. I will check on it for you.
Yeah, it's just,
Of course.
but correspondence over the last
Mhm.
6 months and nothing, no action. Correspondence don't do too much,
Yeah.
because
It's just frustrating. One quick note, Madam Chair, it's just very frustrating, like Commissioner Zigman said, you have a big thing like that, but yet if someone puts up a fence somewhere, they're on that in 2 minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I have a real hard time with this, and I agree with Commissioner Zigma 100%, but there's a lot of places in Berlin that just seem to be getting worse, and it seems like nothing's getting done.
Someone agrees with me.
Yeah. Oh, geez, Tim.
Sorry, it's Christmas time.
Yeah.
This time only, huh?
It's my first time, yeah. All right. Okay, before we all part, I just wanted to just ask that everyone just take a second here and send a prayer to Maureen. She has a procedure scheduled for tomorrow. That's very important, and we really need for her to get through this, okay? So let's just take a moment here. Okay. Now, Merry Christmas. A motion to adjourn, please.
Make the motion to adjourn.
Okay, at
9:04.
9:04. And do we have a second?
Second, I guess.
All right, well, it's actually 9:02. Okay, yeah, 9:02 according to, and a second by Ms. Jorsey. Further discussion, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, so moved. Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy Hanukkah. Happy holidays.